Hello everyone, and welcome to the I'm such an arsehole.
And again. That's hilarious.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Nethergreen Podcast. Today we have a range of topics that will be spoken about by me, your host Hector, and your other host. Oh, he's not.
Oh, was that my... Oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that was my turn to speak. The pause wasn't long enough. I needed at least like a 12-second pause.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We
move fast.
Yeah, I didn't realise.
Well, there's no time for you know.
Man, my bad. Okay, so my name is Bradley.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, by the way. I've been really excited to come on. I'm a really big fan.
Yeah.
I listen to every episode. I think it's really cool. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know why you wanted to come on. I mean, it's been a hot topic on here that we will constantly shit all over you personally. We'll make fun of your family, your pets, your loved ones, anyone that knows you. We make fun of them and harass them.
Oh, Matt, I've listened to every episode. I never got that. Maybe it was in the subtext. Maybe I was like reading between the lines, but I never actually got that this was a podcast against me. Wow, I feel embarrassed for asking to come on now.
It's okay, but you're on now, so I guess we'll just change.
Do I have to stay?
You have to make fun of yourself now.
Oh man, I'm okay. I'm a piece of shit, so I think that's actually easy for me. Now I think about it. Maybe that's why I love this podcast. You know,
it's okay. I used to be a piece of shit.
You used to be a piece of shit, but you're not anymore.
No,
actually,
no, I am.
You're still a piece of shit.
I'm still a piece of shit.
Welcome to this podcast run by pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's actually me. It's been me the entire time. It's the normal Bradley.
Yeah.
I'm sure I fooled a lot. I know I fooled Hector. That wasn't satire because Hector's not a good actor. So
I was scared. Really.
He was. As soon as I said the opening line, which I intended to be a bit, I smiled at Hector, and Hector looked at me like I was a complete stranger. Like I had ripped off a mask that I didn't do. I wasn't wearing a mask, but like I'd ripped off a mask and there was a completely different face underneath it.
Yeah, I was dialing in 999 as you were speaking to me.
You were. That's why I broke character, because I was like, I need you to calm down, Hector. It's me.
Yeah.
But how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Today of all days.
Today of all days, not as good as I could be. We were planning on going into a big city with Dan, Dan and Moose, but unfortunately that did get cancelled. So we're just here in. It
was cancelled due to the pandemic of 2020. No, it wasn't. It just got cancelled because our main actor, the producer of our film, and the family member of one of our one of our crew members, who we won't name. It's Daniel.
He's been on the podcast,
yeah. He's the main actor of our thing, and he got another role, a paying one, because we can't pay him. We can't pay him. I'd love to pay him, but we just can't pay him.
Yeah, we just can't.
And he's got a paying role in London. He's going to be in The Batman.
Yeah. Oh.
2.
Oh. Right,
They've already started filming the sequel, and he's in it. He's replacing Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's pretty big. You shouldn't have told me that, because I'm going to leak it on my podcast, is what I told Dan. And he was like, oh, shucks.
It is a hot topic. What do you think about Robert Pattinson being the new Batman?
Oh, all for it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Robert Pattinson, he did Twilight. I agree. He did. It's a fact he did Twilight.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago now. If you look at his latest roles, he is fucking killing it. The Devil All the Time, The Lighthouse, other movies that star Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
I don't know off the name, but
it's obvious that he's passionate about it, because there's interviews where he talks about it, and you see that it's something that he's always wanted to do.
Yeah,
something that he's always been interested in. So that tells you, okay, this is probably going to be an impressive performance.
Plus he hated Twilight.
Yeah.
You could tell that from the interview too. He was like, "No, I didn't read the book. No, I didn't read the fucking books." Are you joking?
You think I'm gay? I think I read Twilight.
But no, I think it's going to be really fun. It's been directed by Matt Reeves, who did the Planet of the Apes films.
Well, then it's going to be a killer.
Andy Serkis, who does play Caesar in those films, is playing Alfred.
Yeah.
Which, I actually think it's going to be great casting.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
Gonna be good. Yeah, that's going to be real good.
Yeah, and fucking, and yeah, I'm actually, because I've heard 2 things about it, because there have been some test screenings. The first is that it's basically like a horror movie with the way they shoot some of the Riddler stuff. Like, it's got a very dark atmosphere. It's the darkest Batman film yet. And the second is that Batman has never been cleverer in a film than this. Like, it really leans into the idea that he is a detective before he is a superhero in a way. Like, he is,
which I think other they should have played up on more.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, and it's one of the reasons I love the Arkham games, because a big part of that is being a detective and figuring out, where do I go from here? What have I got to find? What have I got to do? And in the movies, like, I think one of the weakest things they did in The Dark Knight, which again, it's an amazing movie, but one of the weakest things they did in that movie was when Batman finds a bullet casing. This is Batman being a detective in the Dark Knight universe. Batman finds a bullet casing in the scene of a crime that's destroyed. He gets a shard of that bullet casing, or a couple of shards, I don't know. He takes it to the Bat computer and he recreates it, and and the image they recreated of the bullet casing has a fingerprint.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Dumb. Yeah, that's so dumb. That's really dumb.
Like, that's not even detective work, because the computer did it. Batman did nothing except pick it up and put it there.
Not only is it physically impossible, but he did. There was no work by him at all. He just picked up a little piece of stone off the floor, a little piece of lead.
I thought it was bullshit, to be honest. And and I'm really looking forward to it. It was supposed to be out by now, but I don't know if you were aware, but something happened last year that kind of rocked the not only the movie industry, but everything. The world.
Which was
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so.
Duh. Yeah, so it was already supposed to be out. But it's definitely one of my most anticipated. Although I keep seeing things on Facebook that are like, would you rather the Batman or Spider-Man No Way Home? I can't answer that until I know for sure that Tobey's in that movie. Because if Tobey's in Spider-Man No Way Home, guess what? It's Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah. I'm not choosing that over the Batman. I love Batman.
If Tobey Maguire shows up in that movie, you're gonna have a theatre full of men with cum in there.
Yes. You're gonna have a theatre full of men who have turned back into 7-year-olds.
Exactly that. I mean, that's gonna be me. That will be me in the theatre. Because oh man, like, and he has to be like.
I mean, if he isn't, then it's a disgrace at this point.
If he isn't, then I feel like there's going to be repercussions.
No, I actually agree with that. And here's the thing, because that's where the idea of it kind of gets a bit dodgy. Because you can argue they've alluded to the idea.
Yeah, no, 100%, they've alluded to the idea of him being in there. That's why everyone's so hyped.
But with the fact that they haven't explicitly said he is. If they aren't, and people actually legitimately get mad, that's going to be what they say. We never said he was in it.
Yeah.
You guys it was the same thing that happened in WandaVision. We didn't watch, the podcast hadn't started yet, but we would have watched WandaVision.
Oh, man.
But a big part of that was the idea that a
huge part of me now thinks that...
A lot of people thought that Mephisto was going to be in WandaVision, and he was going to be the one behind it. But it turned out, no, it was Wanda.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. That may be true. However, no, I think he is very much in it. And there's one big reason for that. The runtime of Spider-Man No Way Home has just been revealed. Have you heard how long this movie is going to be?
No.
2 hours and 39 minutes.
Ooh.
That's Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And if that movie is going to be that long, because here's the thing. You could speculate that it's going to be that long because they need to introduce the former villains. Except, that's not true. You don't need to introduce them. That's because they're former villains.
Yeah.
That's why they've done this, so they don't have to give them all massive introductions. You already know the fuck Dr. Octopus is. Like, you don't need to do his backstory in this. Yeah. If you're going to do that long, you are going to be focusing on loads of... You can't do... Like, don't get me wrong, of course you can, but they're not going to have that be entirely fucking Peter.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't spend... Yeah.
Not Infinity War length level.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to spend time just going over things that have already been gone over. Everyone would get annoyed.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that.
Thus, it makes sense that some of that runtime could be allocated to Toby and Andrew.
We have to hope so. I mean, I honestly feel like a part of me feels like they could be alluding to him being in, even though he's not in, simply to buff up the chances of a high box office. Which, in business terms, that makes a lot of sense. Of course they would do that, even if he's not.
No, but it would work, but the reputational hit they would get would be astronomical. Like, I can only imagine the audience reception to that. The IMDb score.
Yeah, everyone was just so pissed off.
People would bombard that movie with so much fucking hate if they're not in it right now. The same thing happened to WandaVision. People hated WandaVision at first because Mephisto wasn't in it.
Mm.
But they never said he was in it.
Yeah. We have to hope that Tobey Maguire will be in it. We have to hope.
Here's the thing. I mean, the illusions, the idea that they've given out that he could be in it, they're a lot. The theories about Mephisto were only theories. There was nothing actually substantial. It was literally just like things that were in the background and certain lines that people would pick up and be like, "Oh, she said devil. Mephisto looks like the devil, and he's wearing a red cap."
Yeah.
Bullshit like that. But in this instance, no, there's a lot of shit pointing to the idea that they could be in it. Their former villains are in it.
Yeah.
Like,
they managed to get back the actor that played Dr. Octopus.
Not only that, but probably Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Probably Sandman. Actually, no, sorry, definitely Sandman. Sandman and fucking Lizard were recently confirmed by Empire.
Really?
Yeah, I think we talked about that last episode, to be fair. But yeah, they were confirmed. So yeah, like, it's getting bigger, you know? Like, the chances that they're in it. And that's also, and there's another big thing. We haven't got a poster to this movie yet. This movie's coming out next month, and we haven't got a poster to it. They're probably on that poster, and that's why I don't want to reveal it yet.
Oh.
It'll probably drop with the trailer, and they'll probably be in the trailer. Yeah. Hype. I know.
Yeah. Man, we need to go and see it on the day that it comes out.
Midnight screening.
Yeah. 100%.
No, 100%.
Definitely. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, we are doing that. I'm going to book my ticket in advance, and you better book it with me.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, wait, so in a cinema?
Yeah. The cinema's a cinema.
Yeah. Cinema?
Yeah. I will believe that out, yeah. But yeah, no, in this cinema. This is where I watched Endgame, and that was fine.
Yeah.
Hell, we could see it in 3D if we wanted, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'd rather see it in 2D.
Yeah, but 3D sounds terrible.
Yeah. Because none of these films are shot in 3D.
Yeah.
They're all converted too. Fun fact, Doctor Who, The Day and the Doctor, that was shot in 3D. Which I thought was... Most films don't do that.
What does that mean, shot in 3D?
Right, so most films are converted to 3D afterwards. So they take the elements and they essentially rotoscope it in a way. And they add layers to it.
So they just have like a special camera that captures it raw in 3D?
That exists. But it's a lot harder to film with that. For example, in the MCU, which every film since Avengers has been in 3D, but there's actually only one shot. Since 4 have been in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one shot in the entire MCU that was filmed in 3D. Yeah. And that's the end credit scene of 4. And that's a 2-minute scene. And they decided from filming that 2-minute scene, wow, this sucks. This is really difficult. I don't want to do this anymore. We're not doing this. And that's because they're much bigger cameras. You have, like, I don't know if they're actually, like, digital. I don't even know if they're digital. But they are they are fucking units.
Yeah.
And that's why, because Doctor Who, I mean, I've got the Blu-ray, which is in 3D too, but there's the 2D version. But even the 2D version, that's why when you look at it, you can still tell that it was 3D. Like, when you look at it, there are some shots where it's like, wow, even though this is 2D, yeah, like, you can totally see, you can see how that was 3D.
Yeah.
When you watch a Marvel film in 2D, it's just a film.
Yeah.
There's no specific shots that are like, wow, that would be. And I'm not talking about like dumb Final Destination in 3D shit where like things are coming at the camera.
Yeah.
I just mean the way things move in relation to other characters, like in front of and behind the camera.
Yeah.
Like, you can just tell.
Yeah.
And I need to find someone with a 3D TV again, because I first saw Doctor Who 50th anniversary in the cinemas when it aired, and that's the only time I've seen it in 3D. But I have the Blu-ray in 3D. I just don't have a 3D TV. I want to see it in 3D again.
Yeah.
I want to relive that.
Yeah. To be fair, Yeah.
To be fair.
I guess it really does make a difference as well. Like if you watch a 3D film and you put on the 3D glasses on a normal TV, it's not as good as if it's on like an actual...
Well, no, you need an actual 3D TV.
Yeah. Like if it, like, you know how they have like the red and blue and you put on the glasses and it makes it...
Well, those are fun.
Yeah, they're fun, do enjoy but, like, it kind of gives you a headache.
That's how you can play Minecraft and Batman Arkham Asylum in 3D. Batman Arkham Asylum has it too.
Yeah. But like that's like augmented 3D on 2D, like rather than actual 3D.
But it is a clever way of doing it, as opposed to... But that was actually filmed fully in 3D, and I've got to give them props for that. That's probably also why it couldn't have been like longer, because it would have taken like... It eats up your schedule, moving those cameras and changing lenses and shit. You've got to be specific.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get into the actual episode and the actual topics, we recently had Halloween.
We did recently have Halloween, yeah.
You did nothing?
I did nothing. Yeah, I didn't even watch the new movie. I literally did nothing.
Well, the new Halloween movie?
Yeah, I did nothing Halloween related.
I watched the new Halloween movie.
Actually, the only thing that I did do that was Halloween related was Tusk. That was it. Yeah.
Oh, we are going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask though, do you mean, is that an irregularity? Do you usually do something on Halloween?
Yeah, it is quite irregular. Normally, my family buy a load of pumpkins and we do like a competition to see who can carve the coolest pumpkin. And yeah, that's something that we've done like every year for like forever.
Forever. Since before you were born.
Literally, yeah.
In the womb.
maybe since like maybe I was like 5 or something like that. Basically, yeah, since like
it's tradition.
Yeah. So
did you do it last year?
Yeah, we did it last year. I mean, this year the only reason we didn't do it was because we actually couldn't buy pumpkins from anywhere.
Oh,
like
man.
there weren't any at the Tesco's here or at the co-op near mine.
Dude,
there was none.
My family go to a pumpkin patch.
I figured because those were huge pumpkins.
Yeah. You should have asked, and my mum could have given you the address or something. You could have stopped by.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I guess everyone wanted to buy pumpkins this year because there were just none.
Yeah, well, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
It's the only time of year you can buy a pumpkin and not look like a weirdo.
Yeah.
If I saw someone in the middle of April walking down the street with a pumpkin, I'd be like, what the fuck's that guy's problem? What's that guy's deal?
Actually, here's a good point. Oh, can you even buy pumpkins from a Tesco when it's not
I don't think so. I think you have to like order them in. I don't think so.
Are they there? Do people buy pumpkins?
I legitimately don't know. I can't think. That's how irrelevant pumpkins are to me outside of Halloween. I don't even remember if you can buy them outside of Halloween.
Because you can eat them. You can have like pumpkin soup.
Yeah, pumpkin pie.
Like yeah, pumpkin pie. Yeah, no, I actually can't think of any time I've seen a pumpkin in Tesco's other than Halloween.
No, that's how relevant they are.
Yeah, that's how relevant.
Yeah.
Useless.
Yeah. You know, in the original days, they used to use squashes before pumpkins.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Those look a lot more horrifying, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine they're like pale and skin toned.
Yeah, they look terrifying. Yeah. They look like little gremlin faces.
Yeah, really weird.
Yeah. But no, it was fun. And yeah, we did indeed watch Tusk, which I've been begging you to watch for like the last year because of how fun it is, and I finally wore you down and convinced you to do it because of this stupid podcast.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was weird.
It was.
I thought it was very weird, but my favourite parts of it were Johnny Depp. I thought Johnny Depp was just so funny, and there was that really weird scene where him and the other guy just ramble incoherently.
Yeah, in their weird accents.
In their weird accents, just rambling about nonsense to one another. And I just thought, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
It's true.
With like the weird French music in the background. It was so like off tone with the rest of the film. And I just was like, this is really surreal.
Well, the film does have a weird tone anyway throughout. Like, there are some scenes that are like played for laughs where they could be played for horror if they tried.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, there's a spider, and he's laughing to himself. Like, what did you think of the acting in it?
I thought for the most part it was quite good.
Yeah. How about Justin Long, the main actor, who gets walrused?
I thought good. Good.
Is that how you would act if you were being turned into a walrus?
Yeah, it was a good depiction of terror, which is how you would feel if you woke up and your leg was missing. You would be in terror.
Yeah, does that scene stick with you? Because a lot of people say that's the scene that sticks with them.
Yeah, because I think he did it really well.
Yeah.
It's weird if you just woke up
and he was drugged up
from
shit
that
too,
and your leg was missing. yeah, that's like terror.
Yeah.
That's a good. But then obviously after that, it gets a bit too silly for the terror to still be, prevalent.
I've shown you pictures of the Walrus costume. What did you think of it in action?
See, but before watching it and the concept of it and like the costume was, relatively terror invoking. But then watching it, it's like, oh yeah, okay, the terror's gone. It's just kind of
it's definitely better in pictures.
Yeah, like in the pictures, it does actually look quite terror inducing because you've got like all these faces and stitches, and it's quite like grotesque.
Yeah, and
like the concept of it is quite fucked. And then you watch it, and it's like, I don't know, just a bit too silly. It's like you can't.
That's why I've always referred to it as a parody of the Human Centipede.
Yeah,
I mean, you haven't seen the Human Centipede, have you?
No, of course not.
But I mean, I feel like you probably know enough about it to do. I mean, you've seen the South Park parody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I've always considered it a parody of that because Human Centipede doesn't play anything. Well, the first one at least doesn't play anything for laughs. Like, it's trying to be serious and grimy.
Yeah.
The others go too far playing it for laughs. I don't need to see a big, fat, mute, autistic guy masturbating with sandpaper. Human Centipede 2. That's a scene.
Are you kidding? What, as in bare, like you see it?
No, you're not fucking... No, of course you don't see it.
Okay,
but...
right. I was going to say... But why? Why is that in
because they wanted to be as grotesque. Oh, it's not. I mean, he just made a 12-person Human Centipede, including a pregnant woman who gives birth and the baby dies in the middle of it and shit. And he's just masturbating to the result.
Oh wait, if she gives birth, is she giving birth into the person's mouth or not?
Oh, I'll be honest, I don't remember. All I remember is eventually, if that does happen, the baby is indeed out of the mouth because it is left. And, yeah. And I think she dies too, but she's still stitched up. So maybe. And she dies in the middle. And it's a fucking... And then the third one... So to be fair, the third one actually introduces the one thing that I actually do think is worse than a Human Centipede. Which is the Human Caterpillar. Which is a Human Centipede, except they cut off your arms and legs too. So you're just wobbling. I know.
God.
Dude, they're such dumb films. But that's why I really do think this is a parody of it. Because the idea of it, although, they try and be serious with it on occasion, the Human Centipede, it's as ridiculous as being... Is it... Actually, to be fair, that's a good question. Is it as ridiculous as being stitched into a walrus costume?
Yeah.
I think it is, I think it's as ridiculous.
I think the part that made it... Like, I feel like if they played on the terror aspect of it more, they could have made it more terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it was the way they presented it that made it feel silly.
But that's because, it's Kevin Smith, and he is he's a comedy director.
Yeah, like the way it was presented was in a silly way.
Yeah.
If they presented all of that in a more horrifying, dark, slow sort of tone, then it would be really, really disturbing. Like, it could be really disturbing to, play off of, the way that he looked while he's being stitched into the thing more. And, you could totally make it more disturbing. But it was more silly, because, he's flapping around. And,
what did you think of the scene where he was dragged into the water and he's been told to learn to swim?
Yeah, I mean, that was a bit... But again, it was just...
Yeah.
A mixture of the acting and, the way it was shot just made it a bit more silly. I don't know what it is.
And as much as I love him, Johnny Depp's inclusion definitely doesn't help with the silliness.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more silly. As soon as that came in, it was it was no longer...
It changes the film. It really does. It changes the direction of the film.
But I feel like that's good, because I don't think I'd want to watch that if it took the other direction. I actually wouldn't want to watch it.
If it took it seriously.
If it took it seriously, and actually the purpose of it was to be as disturbing and terrifying as they could take that concept, I wouldn't want to watch that.
No, you got a good point. That's why, you've actually got a really good point, because I rewatched Tusk in a heartbeat. I have no intention on ever rewatching Human Centipede. It adds nothing of value to my life to rewatch that movie.
There's no...
I've watched all three of them once, and I will never watch them again.
I genuinely just wouldn't want... I wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't so ridiculous. But...
And that's actually a really good point, because it is about taking yourself seriously. It's not about the gore factor. For example, Saw. I love the Saw series. I'd watch any of the Saw movies right now, even though they're really dumb, because they don't take themselves too seriously. And the one film that does take itself seriously is the one film that's actually good, the first film. And it's not about gore for me. It is about if you're playing it seriously, because the Human Centipede, and if you're just trying to be gross out and dumb, like masturbating with sandpaper.
Yeah, that is weird.
And the third one has a lot of rape in the third one. It's set in a prison. Centipede? Yeah, in the third Human Centipede film, which is set in a prison, a lot of rape. It's weird, and I didn't enjoy it. Yeah. It's not a good film. Yeah. It really isn't. All three of those films are 1 out of 10.
I generally don't enjoy like dark, disturbing horror films. Generally, like I generally don't, because like for me, what's the purpose of watching a film? Like usually, my purpose for watching a film is just for like social enjoyment, to have a laugh. I don't usually watch it for any other reason other than that, because I don't watch films on my own. I only watch it like if I'm with someone, just for fun. So it's like, for me, there's just not really any point in watching something that's truly like really disturbing. I can't think of anything. Like I can't think of what movie I've seen that's been the most disturbing, terror inducing. See, it was.
Would you put it in that genre? Because here's the thing, I would mildly agree with you, except I watch a lot of disturbing movies, and I personally, the ones I love the most are the ones that have something to say. Like, as I've said, and I think I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or not, but when I brought this up, you kind of laughed a little bit. But the guy who wrote Hereditary, in his head, it's not a horror film, it's a family drama. Yeah,
that's like... Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have perceived it as a family drama, but I wouldn't have put it in the same category as...
But if you take out the horror, how isn't it a family drama? It's about family grieving and the loss of their daughter.
Yeah, but the horror is there.
No, but that's the thing, because horror, and as a writer, it's a really interesting conversation to me, because I'm a writer who loves writing horror and sci-fi, and sci-fi is the same as horror in this regard. It's the same. They're less genres and more umbrella genres. Where, because like if you think of any horror film really, if you think of what horror are more based on tropes, based on like acts, Like, I mean, obviously films can feel horrific, and the films that do are great. The films that don't have to rely on jump scares and just get a sense of dread, in you. And it's the same with sci-fi. But underneath the horror and underneath the sci-fi, there's got to be another genre. There's got to be another element that actually connects with you, because horror as a genre can be abstract. Horror and sci-fi, they can be anything, because anything can like sci-fi is science fiction. What does that mean?
Anything that's not real, I guess.
Anything that's not real, that involves the idea of scientific basis. That's more science and religion,
Yeah.
Horror. What constitutes a horror? What's scary?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Is Ghostbusters a horror because it involves ghosts?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. That is very true. It's very subjective, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's the same way. And like, Ghostbusters is a really good example, because you can make horror films that aren't horror.
How would you get a computer to identify what is a horror?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because of the basis of what the story, because Hereditary, again, if you take out the horror, because the story is about that, if you take out the horror, it's a family drama. And that's why he wrote it like that, because the horror doesn't come out of the story. I mean, it does, but it comes out of his directing and the way he's telling the story. Not really the story itself, if that makes sense. Like, say, the Actus Reus, the film we're working on.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot more of like, it is a horror in a sense, but when I wrote the feature, it was a drama. And now, because I've shortened it, I've kind of upped the horror, but I've gotten a lot more psychological with it. I've had to condense it, and so I've gotten a lot more open with it. So in a way, I would describe it a little bit more as like a psychological thriller more than a horror.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's on the edge of in his head, metaphorically, he's on the edge of his fucking seat and he's about to fall off. And he doesn't know why yet. And it gets revealed and then he's got the option, he can either fall off his seat or he can cling on, essentially.
So what makes it more of a horror? The visuals?
Yeah. The only, if this is going to be horror, it's because Dan is really good at that sort of thing. Like, you remember his short film in college, the with the plague doctor.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it will be the visuals and the tone and the sense and the vibe in a way that we give off that will make it a horror. Because you can look at stories like Paranormal Activity. Have you seen Paranormal Activity?
No, I don't think so.
It's the found footage one where, it's a couple and he's, they're haunted and, it's the really famous shot is filming the bed.
Yeah, I think I have seen one.
The first one is the only one that's fine, but it's only fine because of the way it's like edited and the vibe it gives off. If you take the concept of that, you can twist it into anything. And someone did, because Marlon Wayans, who does Scary Movie, he made a parody of it called A Haunted House, which has exactly the same premise, but because he's funny. Well, sorry, Marlon, quotation marks because he's funny.
Because he's funny.
Because he's a quotation marks comedian.
Yeah.
He did his own spin of it, and you realise, it's the exact same story. He's added shit to it, and he's telling it in a different way in order to make us, again, quotation marks, laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like that, isn't it? And that is a weird thing to think about. So technically speaking, the story isn't what makes it scary at all.
Because, again, like with Tusk, you could tell that story and make it a full-on horror. You can make it disturbing. You can make it a movie that no one wants to watch. But he didn't tell the story like that.
Yeah.
He told it in a different way that makes it more of a black comedy. But that movie could easily be, with the exact same script, if you just tweak it a bit, the exact same sort of story, exact same sort of setup, you could easily remake that movie into a full-blown horror.
Yeah.
It's all about the way you shoot it and the context and the vibe you want to give off.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the lighting as well, it was mostly, I think the lighting played a big part.
Yeah.
The way that they did the lighting for the scene where he's in the suit and locked in that room with all the water around him.
In which film?
In Tusk.
Yes.
Where, the lighting in there, I thought was like,
it was really bright. Yeah,
it was so bright, and it was like there was no contrast on him at all. Not how it would be in a horror. You keep everything in the shadows.
Yeah,
so it's really, weird, and everyone has a slight fear of the dark, and there wasn't any of that. It was just like clinical white light. But it was and it kind of revealed that the suit was a little bit plasticky.
Yeah,
I could kind of see that it looked a little bit fake as well.
That's why, especially with the faces, I think the idea of the faces in the suit is really good.
Yeah.
But that's why it looks better in pictures, because those faces are just like still, they're frozen.
Yeah.
And that doesn't look realistic. It is skin. Skin would be moving around and wobbling. But the faces are just frozen.
Also, I feel in the posters, they would have done a lot of photoshopping to make it more.
Well, no, in the posters, the poster for this has actually it's a picture of just Justin, it's a drawing of Justin Long, the actor, with the teeth, but he's not in the suit, it's just his actual face with the teeth.
Oh.
And it's like a red silhouette and black drawing. It's a really good poster, I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the poster doesn't reveal the suit.
Yeah, but in that lighting, it did look it looked a bit fake, and that kind of, and like it was so bright, it was just, as soon as I saw that, a part of me was like a little bit disturbed because, I knew what was happening to this person.
Yeah.
But also the other part of me was like, this is ridiculous. This is so silly.
I mean, you gotta remember, they played it during the credits, but this was an idea created during a smoke session on a podcast, Yeah. And I think it tells, like Kevin Smith, this movie isn't intending to disturb anybody. He wants you to laugh with him, or not at him. And I'm not laughing at him with this film. I think it is very funny. Again, there are the main problem with it, which is weird. I don't know if I would actually, you're going to disagree with me. I do think, weirdly enough, the main problem with it. No, I suppose you won't disagree with me. Not if I condense it. I was going to say Johnny Depp in total, but I actually am going to rethink that. I think you could keep him in. I just think you have to completely redo the ending. Not just the very ending, which we'll get to, because the very ending is the worst thing in the film anyway. But just the entire resolution of him fighting him in the other walrus costume.
Yeah.
And him having to go full walrus and kill him, and then they're fucking screaming and they're running through the house and shit. as soon as you introduce him in the walrus costume, the other guy in the walrus costume, and he's like, we've got to fight to the death, Mr. Tusk. As soon as you introduce that, it's like, man, what am I watching?
Yeah.
What is this? Because there's making fun of the genre, which I do think he's kind of doing in a way in some of this. But then there's like you wrote this on weed. You wrote this smoking weed. This is like acid.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need... This is unneeded.
For me, it didn't make sense that the old guy, would be in a walrus costume, because he didn't kill Mr. Tusk in a walrus costume. Yeah. So that doesn't actually make any sense. Why would he logically think that he should now be in a walrus costume?
I think the idea of it wasn't as much to do with him as it was to do with Wallace, with the walrus, with the idea that he's got to kill him to become full walrus. You know, and that's
I guess he wouldn't be able to if he was like not in a suit.
Yeah, he was trying to give him like equal ground, make it as an equal fight as they could. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, and then fucking Guy Lapointe, who is Johnny Depp, comes in and points his shotgun at Wallace, and they're like, "No!" And it fades to black. And then we come in 1 year later to love interest and kid from Sixth Sense, which is what they're called in the film. It's really unusual. Yeah, that's their names in the film.
Kid from Sixth Sense.
Yeah, the kid from the Sixth Sense. Remember, he was in this.
Yeah.
And they go into a exotic animal wildlife exhibit or something, and they have a newspaper, and they're like, they go to a pen, and there's a dirty pool that has some of the objects from the pool in the lab, which I did think was cool.
Yeah.
And a fucking dirt hut.
Yeah.
And they're like, Wallace, it's okay, it's us. Wallace. And then
he shuffles out.
No, they throw the fish, they reveal that in the newspaper was a raw fish, which, you know, humans, you can eat raw fish, but not that sort of
fish. Not
with
like the skin and
and they throw it in, and fucking Wallace comes fucking crawling out, and as he's fucking snacking into the raw fish, she just goes, Wallace! He comes out, and he looks up at her, and they do a dumb little flashback that shows that he used to cry. He was a man.
She's saying like, oh, you cry to, you know, oh yeah, animals don't cry. Crying is what makes us human.
Yeah.
And then he sheds a little tear.
Yeah.
And he waddles back into his mud hut.
Into his little mud hut, like a walrus.
Yeah, like a walrus.
Even though he is a man.
He is a man.
He is a human
man. And what's happening is completely illegal.
Where are his parents?
Yeah, where are his parents? That's a good point. His parents don't care that he's a walrus.
Because, don't get me wrong, I actually completely believe that this dumb-ass love interest and kid from Sixth Sense could have totally decided, yeah, let's do this. Are you telling me this guy's mum and dad looked their little walrus son in the eye and were like, man, you should live?
He's not just a little walrus son. He is a man stitched into the skin of dead people.
He is in a human suit. You would have horrific scars.
Yeah.
And no tongue.
Like we saw there was like a shot where we actually saw what he was like.
Yeah, he'd stitched his elbows to his sides and like he'd fucked up his fingers too.
Yeah.
And he has no legs.
Yeah.
And again, no tongue. And I mean, he'd be in an asylum for the rest of his life too. You know, completely.
You would not want to be alive, would you?
No. I would personally regret. Like, obviously, that's the worst thing about it. You couldn't even write it down because he fucked up your hands and fingers too.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, kill me, and they'll be like, what is it saying? I don't know. It's a walrus. It's not. I'm not a walrus. Please just fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Kill me.
And that's just what makes it even more absurd, the ending. Just like, it seals it. It seals the absurdness.
It really does.
And I think the ending, for what they wanted, even though it's ridiculous, it makes no sense.
It isn't.
It's good. Because it fits the rest of it. Like, you know, it doesn't make sense the whole fucking movie didn't make any sense.
It's true. I don't know. It's just I personally thought maybe it was a step too far of the absurdity meter, especially considering in the shot before that, Johnny Depp's Guy LePonc, wherever it was, had a shotgun to the gun. Just pull the gun. Just pull that fucking trigger. Yeah. How do you look at that man and actually lower the gun and be like, "You're right. He should live."
He should live.
What? The only way you let that guy live is if they wrestled you to the ground. Because why the fuck would you let that guy live? Him. Yeah, what would you rate it out of 10?
Yeah, so I would rate it, between a 5 and a 6. I'd say, a 6.
Yeah? I mean, I personally, I think it's generous. And look, I love Kevin Smith. Kevin, we know you're listening, okay? Yes. You are with esteemed colleagues such as Chris Chibnall, Barack Obama, the Pope. Yeah. We know you're out there. Alec Baldwin.
Donald Trump. We've had them all on this show.
We know you're out there listening. I want you to know from me, 1, love Dogma. It's your best film. Shane Weinstein owns it, but I hope you get it back eventually. And 2, I think this film is really fun, which is what a film should be.
That's why you would give it above a 5. If you are willing to watch a film again, it's done its job. It's more than a 5.
I don't know. I think that's a weird argument. Because, I mean, that's rating it based purely on enjoyment, when I'm rating it as a movie, as a standalone product.
Yes, but
like Batman and Robin.
It has to have something to make you.
So you're saying Batman and Robin would be above a 5 for you?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, we've got to do a commentary check on that.
I haven't seen that personally.
It's a 2 out of 10, and it's incredible. The Room. You think The Room is a 5? Think about that.
It's not good, but there is a reason why.
Yeah, but exactly.
But
it's not good, and that not goodness is what the star system reflects, not whether or not you would enjoy it.
See, for me, I like in terms of what I'm saying there, with its rewatchability having an impact on its rating. I'd still put, I'd say The Room and Tusk are in and around the same sort of.
If any,
just above a 5.
You know what? Actually, here's
actually
my argument for that. Then here's my argument for that. I would give Tusk. Actually, no, I'm going to use The Room for this argument. I will say I gave Tusk a 4 though, but I'm going to use The Room. The Room is a 2 in my books. Okay. I think the most boring movies are the ones that are mediocre and average. The ones that you don't want to watch again, not because they disturb you, but because they're like any movie. A Captain Marvel or a Black Panther, for example. Don't be wrong, fine movies. I would skip them. An Ant-Man, those sort of movies.
Yeah.
Those are 5s. Because I actually think a 5 rating is worse than a 2 rating, depending on how you look at it.
So you're looking at it from different...
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
I think the higher you go on both sides of the spectrum, the more enjoyment you can find.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that is a good way of looking at it. Yeah. I am basing my I don't know though. Yeah, I suppose I don't have a critically acclaimed rating system, and it's maybe not very structured
or diploma in script writing.
So sometimes I go in between rating it based off enjoyment, and sometimes I'll rate it based off of what I think it did critically. So my rating system makes no sense at all, but no,
that's fair.
But I think that's important for the average moviegoer. You should rate a movie based off of your enjoyment of it, because that's the part that matters, right? If you're not, most of the time people that watch, there are a lot of people that went to the cinema and watched with their family. They loved Transformers, all of them. There are an audience of people.
Yeah, but you can't say they're good movies.
I'm not. This is the point that I'm making. Yeah. Though. This is the point that I'm making, though. There are an audience of people that loved Transformers, buddy. They love them so much, kids.
But it doesn't mean they should be rated highly out of 10.
Exactly, because critically they're not. But to the average moviegoer, the critical elements aren't what impacted their experience of the movie in the same way that it would impact your experience of the movie. You could not watch Transformers, the later ones, which were really dodgy, and enjoy it in the same way that...
I actually think you're forgetting a really crucial element of Transformers here.
Which is?
you're forgetting the fact that before Transformers were movies, they were comics, action figures, television shows.
Oh.
They had a predetermined fan base. Because here's my experience with Transformers. I've seen them all. I've only seen one in the cinema. It was Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon. Now, here's what you need to be aware of. It was maybe 2000 and, I want to say 11, maybe? I hadn't watched Transformers before. I hadn't seen any of them. This was the first Transformers film I saw.
Okay.
And you need to be aware that at the time, my stepdad simply needed something to do with me. He was watching me. So he just took me to the cinema and went to, Transformers, that should be fun.
Yeah.
He fell asleep halfway through, and I left thinking, what the fuck was that? I reckon that's what a lot of people were doing with Transformers. It's the sort of movie you can take your kids to, and that does make bank. That's also a big part of Marvel too. That's especially their early success, like the Avengers. That's totally a movie you could have taken your fucking 11-year-olds to. You know?
Yeah, no, that is true. But there are still definitely an audience of people that enjoy it outside of just that as well. But I do think there are a lot of people. There have to be. No, I mean, there are with every movie, aren't there? There's
not rational people. No offence.
Not rational people.
I'm sorry, those movies are fucking terrible. Yeah, I'm going to say it, not rational people.
Yeah. Well, it's all subjective, isn't it? Up until a point. Up until where you have enough knowledge in the area to be able to critique it. Up until that point, it's all subjective, I think. Obviously, beyond that point, it is a bit more objective when it comes to critically criticising a movie and the way it's done things. You can be a bit more objective about it in that sense. Yeah. If you don't have that sort of knowledge, then you can't be objective with it. It's all subjective completely. Because it's all just purely opinion.
I mean, talking of critical ratings, recently the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has been struck with their very first rotten rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Have you heard about this? Have you read about this?
Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Have you read this?
So, alright, here's the thing. I was actually a bit surprised that this was their first. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but, I mean, there are movies in the MCU that I would have thought, if I had known otherwise, could have been rotten. Black Widow, for example. If I had known otherwise, I would have thought it could have been rotten. Yeah. For the Dark World, The Incredible Hulk. And this movie, don't get me wrong, it's
The Incredible Hulk?
It's not rotten. What about it? Why did you say it like that?
Do you think it's bad?
Yeah. What, are you kidding?
Well, the original one.
2008's Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
You think it's bad?
Yeah, it's bad. You kidding?
Maybe I haven't seen it in a long time. There's that the one with the Abomination?
Yeah. You haven't seen it in a long time, do you? Yeah, that movie's weird and strange, yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. I have fond memories.
No. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it or anything, but it's like a 4 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
But the movie I've rated the most harshly, the two movies I've rated the most harshly in the MCUs thus far have been Ant-Man and the Wasp and Black Widow, both of which I did give 3. I think, and yeah, we watched Black Widow together. I've watched it a couple more times, and every time I've watched it, I've liked it less.
I remember originally you were giving it,
I think, a 6.
Like 6, yeah. I was giving it a 5 at the time because I just.
Here's what you got to know. I've watched it twice since then. The first time I watched it went down from a 6 to a 4. Yeah. I watched it again. It went down with a 3. I'm going to stop watching it. I'm not going to watch it again.
There were
because every time I watch it, I actually find something new that I didn't notice before, and I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Why'd they do that?
Yeah.
Taskmaster is still atrocious. I'm not going to talk about Black Widow.
Yeah, we've already talked about it.
But yeah, no, Eternals has got 53%. Now here's why that's not that big of a deal. Because the threshold on Rotten Tomatoes between rotten and fresh is 55%. No, sorry, 59%. This is 53. It's not rotten. It's not Batman v Superman 26% rotten.
Yeah. And also, the rating system is just... It's completely meaningless.
Yeah.
From the way you explained it to me. So, it's completely meaningless. Like, there could be... So, essentially, there could be... If 50% of people rated it a 4.5, and everyone else rated it a 10.
Yeah.
You know, if you were to take it, 1 to 10, that would still be pretty high. It would be like a 7 or 7.5.
Yeah.
Right. But no, now it's day cancer is under 50%.
Yeah. Let me explain it for the audience in the way I explained it to you. So, say you release a movie and you show it to 100 people. 90 of those people come out of the movie being like, that was, without a doubt, the best film I've ever seen in my life. In fact, I think that is the best film ever made. Cinema has peaked. This is 10 out of 10 all round. 10 out of 10. 10 people come out of that film being like, I didn't get it. I didn't actually like it. I didn't understand I didn't understand it. I think that's a 3 out of 10. Thus, the movie is a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. They could then show those 100 people another movie that is mediocre. It does everything really averagely. It's like a fucking... I don't know, it's a Transformers.
Yeah, it's a Transformers, yeah.
And yeah, these aren't critical things. And they all come out being like, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun. 6 out of 10. All 100 of those people have rated it 6 out of 10. That movie now has a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a full 100%. It has a higher rating than that other movie that could have been a masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's how Rotten Tomatoes
statistically makes zero sense at all.
It panders to the most common denominator.
I mean, even beyond that, it's just like completely washing data and putting it as something that it's not. It just makes no sense at all. It just blows my mind.
So yeah, that's why I don't. Yeah, so I mean, I've never cared about the idea of Rotten Tomatoes scores, and that's why I don't care with this. And I haven't seen Eternals yet. It could be bad. Totally could be.
Yeah.
Dude, Black Widow was shit. It could be bad, but Shang-Li was really good. It could be good. I haven't lost my faith in Marvel by any means, but yeah, I wouldn't disregard the idea that it could be bad. Totally, but. That score? No, that doesn't scare me. I'm not going to go in with expectations because of that score. Anyone who does, by the way, and I mean this, it's fine to look it up before the movie or whatever. But if you're like, oh, what does it have on Rotten Tomatoes? 53? Fuck you. You fucking weeb.
Fuck you.
You fucking dweeb, mate. Go back to your mum's basement. Oh, 53% meh. Fuck you, mate. Who are you talking? What do you know? Who are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Man, I hate people who do that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and people do that.
Oh, yeah.
People do that. Geeks, geeky nerds, really overly critical people who've achieved nothing in their lives. They've achieved nothing. And they criticise people who are achieving loads of great things. That's the part that bugs me.
Yeah.
Is these people who have achieved absolutely fuck all in their life, criticising people who've worked really, really hard to achieve something. Being like, no. 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do that. Things can be objectively, in my opinion, bad.
Yeah, but
I think no. It's more the idea of like, this isn't liked generally. Most people don't like this. I'm not gonna like this now. Meh.
See, that's
because that's what Rotten Tomatoes is. That's basically a percentage of how many people probably like this.
Yeah.
Which isn't a way you should rate a movie or watch a movie, you know?
No.
So yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
And it happens. And yeah, a lot of people are being like, I've seen a lot of headlines being like, this is Marvel's first rotten. It's not. It's the MCU's. A lot of the X-Men were rotten. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was rotten. Fucking Blade 2 and 3 were rotten. Some of the X-Men had one. Yeah, X-Men Origins was like fucking 30-something%. It was shit.
Really?
Yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's shit. You remember that one? It's the one where he has the CGI claws?
I remember it. I don't know fond memories of that one. Maybe it's like another Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it is. You've got to watch more.
Don't ruin these all for me.
I'm sorry, but but that's the thing. If you watch them, they're going to ruin themselves.
Don't make me watch them. Just let me remember them as being.
No, I'm sorry. We are going to have to watch them.
Oh
yeah.
no.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't care about that. And it's the same with these. Like, I have no the DCEU films mostly have rotten, scores. Don't get me wrong. I think most of them are shit. But I don't think they're shit because of that.
Yeah.
It's because they're shit that's the reason, But some of them I also think are too harsh. Like they rated Batman v Superman has 26. Suicide Squad has 23. No. Like, they're both bad, but Batman v Superman, in my opinion, is still very much on another level of Suicide Squad. At least Batman v Superman is competently made and has a somewhat understandable plot, as weird and dull as that plot may be. While Suicide Squad is just a cum shot on the screen of random shit. like for me, Batman v Superman was a 5. Or maybe, 5, maybe a 4.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, 3, maybe 2. And I think to just put them both in the same category, because most people would see those scores and be like, oh, they're the same category of bad, they're the same badness. Like, they're both as bad as each other. That's not true.
Yeah.
And then you get Justice League, which is actually rated a bit higher than both of those.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't be. And it's like it's so
that's
fucking.
The problem is because it's like taking a data set and saying, right, we're going to partially randomize it.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. Like, is partly random if you do it in that way. It's really weird. I mean, what they're doing is what you call a moving average, but like a weird version of a moving average, which you wouldn't even use because it doesn't represent anything, because technically it's completely random.
Yeah.
So I have no idea why you would even want to do that. I have no idea how Rotten Tomatoes is even a popular platform for people to do reviews. It doesn't make sense.
It's because people, there's 2 reasons. One, they also allow audience reviews, so people love posting those and disagreeing with the critics and shit. But 2, a lot of people are really snobbish about the idea of, because not just anyone can post a critic's review to Rotten Tomatoes. You have to be a pretty established critic to matter to that percentage. And some people do wear that as a fucking badge of honour. I've actually seen, with my own eyes, I can't remember the fucking movie, it was a couple of years ago. It might have been one of the Marvel ones, but someone in a Reddit post in the comments was like, hey man, my reviews are on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. I will link you to my reviews if you really want to know my thoughts on the subject. I was like, man, grow the fuck up. Really? Just summarise what you think about the movie. Don't link us to your fucking Rotten Tomatoes review, you fucking... It really was. I was like, man, get a fucking grip. Yeah. You know? Imagine if in public, if I was like, oh, what, you don't like that movie? Well, I'm going to write this down for you. Here's a link to my Rotten Tomatoes page.
It's so pretentious. God. It's like fucking South Park do a bit on that sort of thing about Yelp reviewers.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's a fairly new one, actually.
No, yeah. It's a really good episode. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
And like, there's people like that, and I hate them.
Some people are just dumb and weird, though.
Yeah.
I hate people.
Yeah.
Like, what was that thing you were telling me earlier about that Colin guy?
Colin?
That Colin guy on Instagram? There was an Instagram post about it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So there's an NFL player, Colin Kaepernick, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Like that. Yeah, and
Kaepernick.
I can't remember what his name is. Colin Kaepernick he's an NFL player, big afro, and he
is that his DJ name?
Big Afro.
Big Afro. Big Afro.
Big Afro. And he, what did he say? He said
he compared the NFL to slavery.
Yeah,
is what
he compares the
yeah.
NFL to slavery, and this Colin Kaepernick, after making over $43 million during his career,
that's a lot of money.
The NFL is exactly like slavery,
man.
Like, what an arsehole.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
That's
Imagine suffering in a cesspool of shit in a poverty-stricken country like Africa, where there's human trafficking. You're getting beaten with a whip, and you're actually, in a human slavery or human trafficking ring, and then you see NFL superstar with a $43 million net worth says his job is like slavery.
Yeah, man. It's like, imagine, there's people working in a sweatshop, and they look out of caged windows at night and they think, man, I would love to be an NFL player. Yeah. Imagine being a millionaire, imagine playing football. Oh, that's my dream. And then eventually one of the guards allowed the TV to be on. It's not usually on, but this was Christmas or something, for being forced to work on Christmas.
Yes, it's Christmas Day. Oh, Colin Kaepernick, my favourite NFL player. And he turns to the screen. The NFL is like slavery, and the poor child's smile drops from his face.
Oh my god, it never changes. He thinks it's going to be like this forever, even my dream.
Oh my god, that's such a funny take on it. He doesn't see it like he's being hypocritical. He sees it as an even really rich people are slaves. You can't actually escape the slavery. It's just always like it. You just get richer. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh man, that's
that's a good one. Yeah. But I mean, yeah.
But no, it's an awful statement.
What an arsehole.
Yeah.
What an arsehole. And the part that triggered me the most was that on this was like a meme that someone had posted on their account, which, taking the piss out of him for saying it. And there were people in the comments being like, yeah, I'm unfollowing.
Yeah.
Or being like, fuck you for saying this. And I just think,
wow,
what?
this? Or,
yeah. I just thought, what? Are you retarded?
Yeah.
Like, there's people who are actually suffering in slavery, real slavery, not being a $1 million net worth and an NFL player.
That's like Scarlett Johansson when she had her Disney lawsuit for fame. Imagine if she came out being like, working for Disney, it's comparable to the Holocaust. Like, people would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? People would have been like, are you fucking insane? Like, what do you mean?
It's literally like that.
Yeah.
That's basically what he said. What an imbecile.
I was going to just say slavery too, but then I was like, well, that takes even more of a different meaning because Scarlett Johansson is white. So I said Holocaust, yeah. But no, what a ludicrous statement that is, man. Imagine actually, that takes such a closed mind. Like, he doesn't realise how privileged he is. Yeah. Not white privileged, just outright privileged.
Yeah, privileged to be in such a position of wealth and, like, influence and be famous.
And don't get me wrong, if they're mistreating you, speak out about it. Don't compare it to slavery.
Exactly, because you can speak out about it and you can do something about it. Guess what? You don't enjoy it, you can quit your job and walk away with your $43 million. Whereas someone who's I'm leaving, I don't like this.
Yeah, man, that's so true. Wow.
Like, he could just leave. If you're actually trapped in a slave cult, it's tough. Like, that's your life. You are a slave. Yeah, what an arsehole.
Man, it's like, it's not related to it, but do you remember when Kanye on stage said that slavery was a choice?
Yeah.
Is that how he's kind of picturing this? Like, do you think that's kind of the angle he's going at here? Like, he's not saying the NFL isn't slavery. He's simply trying to say that he feels like a slave.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe more along like subjective terms than like objective.
I mean, if that is what he was trying to do, he worded it very wrong.
Yeah. I mean, let's say even if he is using it as a metaphor, I don't know. It's just a very strong.
Yeah, no,
controversial thing to say. It's a controversial thing to say.
He's probably trying to stir up controversy, though.
I imagine so. Celebrities try to do that all the time. They love controversy. It brings attention to them, gets them more fame.
It does.
But yeah, famous people are like that. Famous people are, I think, very, you get a lot of bad, rich, famous people that what's the word? Like, they believe the world revolves around them.
They're narcissistic.
Narcissistic people that are just completely oblivious to the real world of how, some people are actually struggling. They'll be like, oh, my life is so terrible being famous and rich. You don't want to be famous.
That's why I think you can actually tell with a celebrity when they grew up rich versus when they didn't. Like, a lot of people don't like him, but look at Ricky Gervais. You can tell that guy grew up poor.
Yeah.
Like, you could just tell from the way he presents himself and the way he talks to people.
And who's that other one that you said the DOP on set looked like?
Oh yeah, Russell Brand.
Yeah, Russell Brand.
Yeah,
that's
like you could tell when someone's from the streets. It's a weird way of putting it, but it's true.
Had a come up story rather than was born into wealth straight away.
Yeah.
Even in business, like, you can tell, like, you can tell the difference between Elon Musk and Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Bezos seems like a pretentious, overconfident asshole.
Yeah, and you could also tell the difference. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but in terms of, it's just sort of the same between Barack Obama and Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, you definitely can. Yeah, you definitely can.
And just the way they talk to people and the way they present, like Barack Obama, I've actually really believed this, and I still believe it. I think he could do it. I think when he stopped being president, he should have moved into stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Because I actually think the dude is really charming. And I think I feel like he could have actually really done some funny stand-up.
He is. But yeah, no, you do get that certain vibe from types of people. Donald Trump definitely seems like the type of person that would only be interested in speaking to you if you were, proper. If you were proper. Like,
but dude, it's not even just celebrities. There was a thing, I don't remember who it was, but some TikTokers went to a party and they weren't allowed in because there was a bouncer at the door checking your follower count, and that's how you were allowed in. Like,
that's cringe.
Get a fucking life.
Yeah, that's cringe. That's really cringe.
It's so fucking cringe.
Yeah, that's really cringe.
How many followers have you got? I don't know. How many dicks have you sucked, mate? Get a fucking grip. Get a fucking grip, mate.
I bet that number's off the Richter scale, baby.
That's more than the followers I've got, mate. I'm very sure.
Yeah. Plop, plop, plop. Dicks in your mouth all night long.
Get a fucking grip. What are you talking? Yeah. How is that relevant to who you are as a person?
It's not. It's not at all.
Like,
how many followers does, I don't know, scientists that discover?
You know, I bet. I don't know if fucking they have. I don't know if the Taliban have social media, but I reckon some of them have high enough followers to get into your party.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, fucking get a grip.
Social media is not a good way to base anything off of.
It's not, and it's really indicative. It honestly, I think social media and the internet as a whole, it's the worst. I hate it. I hate it so much.
And do you know why it's the worst? Do you know why I think it's the worst?
Why?
Because what is the internet? Think about it.
It's a little bit of everything all of the time. Anything and everything all of the time.
But the internet is literally made out of one thing.
It's a series of tubes.
Without human beings, the internet would literally be nothing. It'd be nothing at all. It wouldn't. It would. It could still exist, as in the connections between computers, but it would be nothing.
Yeah.
So that means the internet is one thing and one thing only.
It's human.
The human race. Projected.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so terrible.
It's true.
Because the human race is a terrible, terrible race of beings.
You're 100% correct. Yeah. We weren't ready as a civilization for social media.
No. It's terrible because that's literally all that the internet is. The internet is literally just a projection of humanity.
Yeah.
So it's easy to see. It's all brought to fruition, and that's what the human race is. That's what the internet is. And it shows. It shows, doesn't it? Look at what we've done to the planet. I mean, look, even David Attenborough's COP26, talking about, the effects we've had on the world.
Donald Trump got flack recently because he sat next to David Attenborough, who was wearing a mask, and he didn't wear a mask, and people were like, "You're not even going to wear a mask to protect
Boris
David."
Johnson as well.
No, it was Boris Johnson. You're right. Yeah,
it wasn't. It was Boris Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, and people, what a dickhead for doing that, man. Like, wear your fucking mask. Protect David Attenborough.
David Attenborough is literally like 88, over 80 years old. He's very old. Yeah.
Like, don't fucking put him at risk. And the Queen was at the hospital recently. What if she dies soon? She could. She's 99 or whatever she is.
Yeah, she's really old.
Do you think she's got like artificial organs at this point?
She's the Queen. Yeah.
She's probably got like a robot heart that'll make her live forever.
Maybe not a robot heart, but I'd imagine...
They probably dip her in clay when she goes to sleep to freeze her skin.
Every 5 minutes she has like a full body massage and pedicure and, the little needles poking out, She goes into a little pod, they give her a full new layer of skin.
She sheds her skin like a snake.
Yeah.
Man, But I don't know. Either way, I fucking hate social media. I really do.
Yeah. But I do think things will change. I think with connectivity has come around improvements to humans generally.
Yeah.
The internet has improved everything, generally speaking. Because, think about it. The internet hasn't caused more bad things to happen necessarily. It's just made it
so the bad things are out there.
Happening. Like, we can actually see the bad things that are currently happening.
Going
on. I would argue that before the internet, there were more bad things because now people are more. You can think about. You can't think about something if you don't know that it exists.
Yeah.
Now everyone knows that these things exist. People are more aware to stop them from happening, or aware to not accept them into society, and then people are more aware to change.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it has improved things generally, but it does still reveal quite a lot of bad things, especially that video that we watched earlier about.
I don't even want to name them because I don't want to get into that rabbit hole. That could be an entire podcast episode. I promise you, it could be because that video was only half an hour. I promise you, it barely scratched the surface of the full story of this person.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, we can't get into it right now. Let's change topics.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, there was the Rust incident, where Alec Baldwin on the set of his film murdered director of photography Helena Hutchins.
Which is a tragedy.
Did I say? I'm sorry. If I said murdered, then I actually really apologize. It's killed because it wasn't.
It wasn't a murder.
It wasn't a murder. It wasn't intentional. If I actually said murdered there, which I think I did, I apologise. And in response to that, Dwayne Johnson has announced, because Dwayne Johnson, and this was unbeknownst to me, and I'm still kind of shocked by it, but it's true, is actually the biggest actor in Hollywood. How? And why? Because he's not a good actor.
Social media?
I hate it.
Yeah, social media, man. He's got the biggest Instagram account.
I hate the fact that he's the biggest actor in Hollywood.
He's got the biggest Instagram accounts. All the movies that he's
Joaquin
made.
Phoenix should be the biggest actor in Hollywood, not fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
That just tells you all you need to know about American film culture.
Yeah, but either way, he is doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Because he has vowed that on every film he does from now on, he's only going to be using rubber guns.
So what did you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good move.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I think it's a good move.
I thought it was weird.
Why?
I saw it, and I thought... I don't know. A part of me thought... It's like... I don't know, it's like... Does a good deed count if you film yourself doing it? It's that kind of... I'm not saying that specifically.
Yeah.
It gives me that vibe. I get the vibe that he is motivated to do this because he wants to look like a good person. It just feels really weird that you would publicly announce that and be like, oh yes, when he wasn't necessarily involved in it, really. I don't know. For me, it just felt a little bit weird that he would come out with that. Obviously, it's a good thing, and yeah.
See, actually, I find that interesting because I'm a very cynical person, and when most people do stuff like this, that is usually how I see it. With this one, however, I saw it as he was announced this because he is apparently the biggest actor in Hollywood. I was hoping he would announce it with the hopes that I was thinking he was announcing it with the hopes that other actors and actresses would join in and announce the same thing.
Again, yeah, no, I
don't know. You're probably right.
I feel reading into it, that's just the vibe that I get from it. But that doesn't detract from it is a good thing to do. Regardless of what his motives are, it's a good thing to do. And I think, it makes no sense at all that a real gun would be on the set.
Yeah.
Apparently the main reason was for cutting costs because it's actually more expensive to get fake
because they got to look good.
It's cheaper and easier to get a real gun.
It is, especially in America.
Than it is to get a fake
especially in America. You can just walk into a Walmart and buy a gun.
Blows my mind.
I know.
It blows my mind.
No, because think about it. When you're making a fake rubber gun, you've got to pay a specialist,
it costs way more.
Yeah, you can walk into a Walmart and just buy a gun.
Yeah, because to buy a pistol in America, you can buy one for $100, $200. You want to get a...
I would have enough money on me to just go out and buy one now. Just be like, hey, look at my gun, guys.
But, a professional looking fake gun, that's quite expensive. That'll set you back a couple of, at least, I don't know. I want to say 10 grand.
Oh, I wouldn't have gone that far. I would have gone more in the line of 5,000, 7,000.
Yeah, maybe I went a bit over but I don't know. I feel, I don't know. I feel like in film, because the thing is, whenever anything is corporate, you always end up paying ridiculous amounts of money for services that don't cost that much. And I feel like for something like that, then you definitely be charged a lot for that, I think. But
it's necessary and it should be done.
And you're cutting out that cost at the risk of bringing a real gun onto the set.
Yeah.
But then it goes a step further than that. Why the fuck were there... Oh, wait, it wasn't a real bullet. It was a malfunctioned blank? Or was it a real bullet?
No, it was real bullets. Yep.
Why? Why were there real bullets?
I don't know why.
Set?
My theory about it was the real bullets were put on set because they were like maybe filming the bullets. Like the bullets were a part of the scene, and they got real bullets instead of fake bullets because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean the bullets, 100% are a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
but not that much cheaper.
No, I know.
For a budget, for when you've got millions of pounds in the budget, it might as well be
No,
free.
but that's the thing. Apparently, it wasn't a cost. It wasn't about the money per se. They wanted to get this film done as quick as possible. This was a rush job.
Yeah. So yeah, one of them is, hey, I've got a gun at home. We'll just use that.
No, but like, what we got to wait? We got to wait 3 months for these guns to be made. Fuck that! I can just buy a gun. You know, it's a terrible situation. It was really good of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah. And as a guy who does write films, because here's the thing. You can't. It is really hard to just ban guns outright because guns, unfortunately, are very much a real part of life, and you don't want to just filter your product like that. That's like an ET when he did that edit that replaced the police's guns with walkie-talkies. Yeah, it's just like, why would they have walkie-talkies? There's an alien there. They would have guns. It's America. Yeah. They would have guns. Yeah. Like. Yeah. So I've got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't exactly have guns in every single one of my projects or anything. But I've definitely got some projects where a gun is necessary. And I definitely wouldn't want someone's life at risk because I've decided to write a gun into my thing.
Yeah. But like, I guess as a British person, it kind of...
we view guns very differently.
At first it was shocking to me. My first thoughts were, how is it legal to have a fucking gun on movie? And then it's like, oh, it's in America. Of course. Yeah. That's how it's legal. But like here in the UK... just having the gun there on set, prison. Yeah. Prison. Handgun anywhere. Owning a handgun anywhere outside of a shooting range. Or, I'm not even sure it's legal to own a handgun in the UK. I don't think it is legal to own handguns. You can own rifles and shotguns. Yeah, no, you can't own handguns in the UK. Illegal.
Because there should be no reason for you to have one.
Yeah, like you straight up, you just go to prison if you had a...
fucking in America, an assault rifle. Now, Jim Jeffries is a comedian who does a really good bit on this. I've got this for protection. It's called an assault rifle. Yeah. Not a fucking defense rifle.
And it's a good point. It's a good point, man. You can buy Barrett 50 cals legally. A Barrett 50 cal is, if you shot someone in let's say just even in the middle of the chest with a Barrett 50 cal, let alone the head. If you shot them in the head, their entire head would have exploded and be gone. Yeah. If you shoot someone in the chest, it tears their entire torso off and blows a massive hole in them. Yeah. Why the fuck would... What? Yeah. Why is it legal to buy a gun that is that powerful? Like something that you're able to like penetrate like defensive armor cars.
Another Jim Jeffries line from that same bit was he was impersonating an American person being, I need a gun to protect, I need it for protection, I need it to protect myself, I need it to protect my family. And he was like, how many fucking enemies do you think you have? You're the most paranoid men on earth. Because like, it's true. Like seriously, like, if like a gun, like the only reason you would need a gun is if you're being attacked by people by guns. Guess how you get rid of their guns? By getting rid of all the guns. Yeah. That includes your gun, unfortunately, but guess what? That's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, it works.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Gun crime is obviously way lower here in the UK. Yeah. Because guns are illegal, they're harder to get. But it is partly a complex matter in the US because they're, the foundation of their country is built on freedom and people being allowed guns. So for them to change that is quite a dramatic thing to change in terms of history. Like, it's a very historical thing that you wouldn't just be able to change. Like, you wouldn't.
Yeah, but here's the thing, because Jim Jeffries mentions this too, because guess what that's called? That's called what, the Fifth Amendment? Mm. It's called an amendment. It's already been changed. That's what an amendment is. Just change it again. It's an amendment.
I'm not actually sure why it's called that.
No, it's called that because it had to be changed.
Yeah, they changed it to bring freedom to the country after the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called an amendment. Yeah. You can't say you can't change an amendment.
the amendment is a change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But yeah, a lot of American people would have a huge problem with it. Like, you wouldn't be able to take away their guns. Like, there would be huge problems. Like, I mean, fuck, look at what happened in the Capitol riots. You know, shit gets serious in America. You know, people get shot. You know, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, guns are one of humanity's worst inventions.
Along with nuclear bombs. Nuclear bombs are just obscene, taking it to the next level.
And I'm gonna cut this, but I actually want to quickly bring this up. That's why I'm not a fan of the idea of when you and Dan or you and Luke, whoever it was, were talking about getting into arms dealing.
Oh yeah,
I hate the idea of you doing that.
Yeah,
I really don't like guns. I mean, they're fun to look at and they're fun to hold, but I think the idea of them is fucking cowardly and fucking just it's so fucking awful.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects. There's a lot of aspects to weaponry, isn't there? It is cool though.
I know they're cool, but I think the idea of them are just so fucking unnecessary. Yeah. And I hate the idea of you getting into arms dealing. I really do.
Yeah.
So I'd really rather you didn't. Look at fucking Tony Stark. He had to learn. He was a dickhead. He had to learn that arms dealing was wrong.
That is true.
Learn that lesson. Yeah. But yeah, back to it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's as you said, it's a really complicated topic. Americans in particular. But that's the thing. Aren't they the only country, essentially?
There's very few countries that allow guns. Yeah, there's very few countries that allow guns.
And look at, and I hate to bring it up because it is such a serious topic, but school shootings.
Yeah.
They're fucking a dime a dozen in America. You get one every other month.
Yeah. We literally haven't had one since the 1900s.
Yeah.
Like that. Obviously they can't happen here because no one has guns. So yeah, that's a huge problem.
It really is, and
it shouldn't happen.
It is, and that in particular, whenever you see something like that on the news, there's a show called, I think it's called 19-2 or something like that. It's a cop show set in Canada. Because in guns also, it's the same in Canada to a certain extent. They're a bit more strict on the ownership, but you can still buy a gun in Canada. They did an episode that was based on a school shooting where it was mostly one take and it was mostly in real time, and it was like them playing a cat and mouse game through the school. And man, they did it incredibly fucking well. Like, it really shows the tension, and they went like, there was way more dead students in it than I thought there would be. Like, they really did a fucking good job on it. It was a really effective piece of television. And
I think it's good to explore those things as well.
No, it is, because they're awful topics, and unfortunately, because of gun laws in America and Canada and countries like that, they happen. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising that it doesn't happen in the UK still at all, because obviously you can buy guns.
It's just a lot harder for kids to buy guns.
It's a lot harder for kids to buy guns, but you know, I suppose for you to own guns at home legally, you have to have a registered gun case, and police will come and check it every so often. Or like you have where they come and inspect it to make sure it's all still like up to standards.
Yeah.
So like it's more rigorous. Like you can't just own a gun.
Yeah.
In the UK in your house, there's loads of rules and stuff. But people should just be able to do that in America. You know, just have firmer rules on it, and then people don't have to die so often.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the bluntest way of putting it.
That's the cost. That's essentially the cost
of your freedom.
Of them choosing to have all of those guns.
Yeah.
Children and people dying. Is it really worth it?
Because that's the thing. You can say that taking away your guns is limiting your freedom, but it's only limiting your freedom if you let it be. It's only limiting your freedom unless you as a country, you as a people, can choose to give up the guns for the betterment of humanity.
Yeah. You should choose to do it, yeah.
And then I don't have access to guns. Guess what? I'm not waking up and I'm being like, oh, my freedom. No, it is my freedom choice to not have a fucking gun. Yeah. I don't want one. But you shouldn't want one so badly. What the fuck is wrong with you?
If you want a gun, that's fine. Loads of men in the UK. I don't know why I said just men.
Yeah.
Loads of people in the UK own own guns. Obviously, you need to keep them in gun cases. You can only own shotguns and rifles.
But I would still say you shouldn't want them this badly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is a good point. I mean, guns are beautiful. You can buy very, very beautiful guns, but some of them are just nasty.
Yeah.
Like, some guns are just nasty. Like, you get beautiful shotguns.
You're simply talking aesthetically.
Yeah, aesthetically, you get beautiful shotguns, really, really expensive. You can spend like 12 grand on a shotgun, and it will be beautiful. It'll be gorgeous, handcrafted. You can get beautiful wooden rifles. And then you see Americans with disgusting, plastic assault rifles designed for no other reason other than to manufacture something that can kill someone in the cheapest way possible.
Yeah.
So they manufacture it with plastic and tiny bits of metal here and there, and then you just get plastic garbage that costs $100 to make, maybe less than $100 to make, and it can kill people. And that's just nasty.
Yeah.
It's not even nice. There's no art. There's no craftsmanship. It's just something made as cheaply as possible to kill people.
Yeah.
And then at that point, what's the point? Why do you want this?
It's just I find it. I really do hate it. And rubber guns. I'm all for it. Just make sure they look realistic. Add it in the visual effects. Easiest visual effects you can do.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I mean, if you can VFX in Thanos, you can VFX in a gun.
Dude, guess what? In the lightsabers, those visual effects in the original movies, they were hand drawn.
Yeah.
You can do it easily.
Easily. There's no excuse.
No. It's true. I'm talking of visual effects. I'm talking of things as a whole. There was another thing on Halloween that happened, Hector. There was a new episode of Doctor Who.
There was
indeed,
yes.
Now, we're getting into the main run of this episode. This could take a while, so go strapped in, folks. Let's quickly talk about the recent Doctor Who era. So, since 2017, the Doctor has been played by Jodie Whittaker, and the show has been run by one Christopher Chibnall. We know you're out there, Chris.
We know you're listening.
Maybe our most guaranteed, classic, loyal viewer.
Yeah.
We love you, Chris. Well, we don't. I don't. I don't love what I do. I do love you. But I don't love what you've done with the show.
Yeah.
Now, you haven't watched series 11 and 12.
No.
I have. You've seen exactly one episode from that era thus far, and that was Orphan 55, which I told you was the worst episode. It is. And it was the one where there was they're on a planet, and there was a cat person, and they had to suck their thumb at one point, and Benny.
No, it was really cringe. That was a really cringe episode. That was cringe. That was a cringe episode.
But when I saw this episode first on Halloween night, I was like, okay, I can't. It's the best episode of his era thus far. And as someone who hasn't seen much of his era, what did you think of this episode? I must ask.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. There were things that I didn't... You see, in my mind, I compare it directly to David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that I remember the most. And comparing it to that is just
Yeah.
That's it's unfortunate the way that I see it that way. I think the reason I see it that way is because when I used to watch Doctor Who, I stopped watching it because I used to watch it religiously with my mum every time an episode came out.
Yeah.
That was how I got into it, and we kind of stopped doing that after the first series of Matt Smith.
Of Matt Smith?
Yeah, so I didn't actually see the next one that he did. I only saw the first.
Oh shit! Why?
Yeah.
Because his first series is actually his best.
The reason is unrelated to the quality of it. I think it was more related to just stuff that was happening.
Oh,
in
okay.
Life generally.
Yeah.
We just weren't able to carry on watching it for whatever reason. So I just kind of stopped after that, and I haven't watched Doctor Who since then.
Yeah.
And that was around the time that I was in year 7.
Series 6, that would have been 2012.
Yeah, so 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that was a long time ago.
Well,
you know,
9.
That's, yeah.
Almost
9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 10. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's wild. I mean, I've watched it.
I haven't kept up with it since then at all.
It's going to be the first full series you watch since then.
Yeah, and like, obviously, the first things I pick up on is, the Doctor's a woman. the next thing that I pick up on is, apparently everyone is Northern.
Yeah, no one is Doctor Northern now.
Yeah, and wait, so is that like a reoccurring thing now?
No. Well, I mean,
with the Jodie ones.
Well, two companions just left, and they were both Northern too. So it's hard to say. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's weird. It wasn't that prominently Northern when I was watching it. You know.
I mean, Christopher Eccleston was Northern,
but that's not prominently Northern. Like that's not prominently. You know?
It depends what you mean. You say prominently, but it's not as if everyone being Northern was like a part of the plot. I
know, but I just picked up on it, and I was just like, wait a second, this is. Why is everyone Northern?
I mean, but in David Tennant's era, everyone was also speaking like sort of the same. They spoke East Audrey.
Mm.
Just because it's changed regions doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah. I don't know why. That was just what.
Did it keep pulling you out of it?
A little bit.
Really? Okay.
I don't know what it was.
The main one I could see that working with is the Dog Man.
Yeah.
Which we will get into, but he definitely doesn't need to be Northern.
That would just it was just slightly off-putting. It was at the very start.
What, do you hate Northerners?
No, I don't hate Northerners. I know lots of Northerners.
And you hate all of them.
But like, I actually don't know what it is. But it was at the very start when the hologram came up. And I was like, why is the villain a Northerner?
Yeah, you did. You actually did ask it. Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I found that weird, but he wasn't speaking like an alien.
Yeah.
He was speaking like a British Northerner. And I just thought that was strange for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why. And then later on, as it just continued on, then some other bloke got involved who had like a really heavy Northern.
No, well, he was Scouse. Yeah,
Scouse,
Dan.
Yeah, like Scouse.
John Bishop.
Yeah, I when I said I'd say Scouse is a Northern, but yeah, Scouse. But yeah, I thought, wow, that's like
that was just to be specific.
Yeah. That was like a heavy. That was like in some of his sentences, I couldn't actually understand what he said. Like it was actually that bad. Not to say that that happened a lot, but there were at least maybe 2 or 3 sentences throughout that I actually didn't.
But again, people said the same thing about Capaldi.
Yeah, but that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. You can obviously understand what he says. This guy actually had sentences where I legitimately did not know what he just said. It was that confusing.
Well, I mean, I watch everything with subtitles anyway because I'm a nerd, and that's the only reason. It's not because I grew up with a deaf nan. It's because I'm a nerd. But when you watch it with subtitles and you hear it, you hear what he's saying. Like, even though trick or treat, have a good night. But when you listen with subtitles, you do actually hear what he's saying. Like, it does match up. He's not mispronouncing it. It's just, it's a very strong accent. I mean, the Doctor's Northern too, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's only because she crashed into, well, it isn't. It's because Jodie's Northern.
Yeah.
But the canonical reason could be because she crashed into Sheffield and because she was in that area when she regenerated, maybe she just kind of picked it up,
Yeah, but that was like one of the first things that I picked up on. At first I was like, why is everyone Northern? That kind of threw me off a bit. So that it was that, and the Doctor is a woman. Those were like the main things that I picked up on that were like kind of weird for me at first because the last time I saw Doctor Who was Matt Smith, like that era. So those 2 things I picked up on and found them a bit not off-putting, but like I noticed them.
Well, what did you think of Jodie in this episode? Because as someone who has seen her era, I think she is more the Doctor in this episode than any other she's done so far.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel like I couldn't imagine her as playing the character of the Doctor. It was more. The part that bothers me isn't anything to do with her performance. Like, I could watch it afresh and be like, this is a good performance. It's more that I associate the Doctor with being a certain way because of, you know, how I remember it, and that's not how I remember it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an incorrect way of seeing a show, considering it's literally 10 years later. It shouldn't still be the same anyway.
I mean, you say 10 years, it's almost 60 years, to be fair, since his very first inception.
Yeah.
Remember, there were 12 male doctors.
Yeah, that's true, even back then. But I mean, you know, in relation to 10 years ago when I was watching it, it shouldn't make sense that it would still be the same, if you know what I mean. So I know that my opinion doesn't really make much sense, but that's kind of just, I don't know. Yeah, I guess because those are my fond memories of it, and like I kind of want it to be that way.
No, I get what you mean, and there is always, you know, the want to look back to the past and reflect. That's why a lot of people who are fans of the classic era don't like the new era. You know, in general, they don't like David Tennant or Matt Smith. You know.
Oh, like fans of the classic who?
Yeah. And I, you know, as much as I disagree with them, I get that. I mean, I've seen Classic Who. I really do enjoy Classic Who, but I get that if you grew up with Classic Who,
it is different.
Yeah, it's like really radically different.
Yeah.
I can look back on Classic Who and appreciate it for what it is. Really can. In fact, there was, because they do this thing now where, because there's so many lost episodes of the first two Doctors, they've been animating some of them. And they animated the last serial of the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton's first season, which is a serial I've heard a lot about called The Evil of the Daleks. And it was supposed to be the last Dalek story ever. It was supposed to be their finale. And yeah, I watched it the other day. I watched the animations in black and white. There is a colour version, but it feels really weird watching the colour versions because Troughton is in black and white. Any of the live action stuff is all in black and white. Why would I watch it in colour when the black and white option is there?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really, really fun. Like, I actually really enjoy it. I have no problems watching Classic Who. I can understand why, because Classic Who is, like, it's a very different format. It's longer. Like, it's a lot more...
It's weirder.
Yeah. So I can actually understand someone being like, why is the Doctor only solving these cases in 45 minutes? These can't be big scenarios if it's only taking place in 45 minutes. You know? A Doctor Who story should be around 2 hours long.
Yeah.
You know? Where's the cliffhangers? Why is there only, like, 3 cliffhangers? The classic serials, the classic seasons would have like 26 episodes, and all but 5 of them would have epic cliffhangers that the audience would remember and shit, you know? So no, I actually really get it. And yeah, and it has changed in the revival era so much to the point that, yeah, there are people who are like, nah man, it's too different to how it was with Eccleston and Tennant, I'm out. And it's kind of crazy to me, but I get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to censor his name, but in college, he was kind of the same. He really wasn't enjoying the direction this era was going, and he was...
At what point?
During, I'd say, during the last series 12. He wasn't enjoying it, and he particularly didn't enjoy the revelation of the Timeless Children, which I've told you about. The fact that the Doctor now is no longer from Gallifrey, she's from a different dimension, she can regenerate infinitely, and she's actually a Shabogan. Yeah. It's ridiculous, and I hate it. And there's actually, there's infinite pre-Harnell Doctors, and, you know, ugh. But, as much as I don't like that, and he didn't like that, we talked about this on Halloween when the episode aired, because I always talk to him after every news piece of Doctor Who media, because, you know, I know that he watches. And he said that he loved it. Like, he loved it way more than I did.
He does still watch. Okay.
Yeah, he couldn't properly give it up.
Yeah.
Because no one can. If you're a Doctor Who fan, I don't think you could. But, like, there's a really classic fan called Ian Levine, who is a complete knobhead. He's really weird. He's really strange. There's a song called Doctor in Distress. I don't know if you've ever heard about this. Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
A brief summary. It was going to be cancelled in between the Sixth Doctor's seasons. He only had 2 seasons. And Ian Levine organised and made a song called Doctor in Distress. And it goes like this. Doctor in Distress. Bring him back now. We won't take less. It's awful. He organised that. And there's a really famous bit. There's a really famous story where when Russell T Davies was doing Torchwood, Ian Levine went to a press junket and started asking questions about Doctor Who, and Russell was like, "Get out of here, Ian, you dickhead." I think he did call him a dickhead. I think he was like, "Get out of here, Ian, you dickhead." And I was like, "Yeah, you go," because he's a weird guy. And then when Jodie regenerated, he was like, "That's it. Never watching Doctor Who again. I've been a lifelong fan. You know, and he has done the stuff for the show. Like, he did Doctor in Distress, as I said.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, he was actually the continuity manager for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he was such a nerd that he knew, like, practically all the lore. He practically wrote the TARDIS wiki.
That's pretty cool.
And he has made some some actual proper contributions. So, he actually managed to rescue some of the lost episodes. What else? Yeah, there's an episode called Sharda that is infamous because it was being made during a strike, so it was actually unfinished. And he got a team together and managed to get Tom Baker and Leela Ward, who was the companion in it, and animate the rest of the story. Mm. And it's been redone since then a lot better, but since it's been redone, that's always been the template. You know, he started that project in a way. But yeah, the animation was a bit pish. But guess what? Of course, he's still watching and he's still complaining because you can't stop watching. It's just that sort of show. It really is. Dude, there have been times, don't get me wrong, there have been times where I really didn't like Doctor Who. I really didn't like Capaldi. Here's a fun fact. I really didn't like Capaldi during his first series. Really didn't. And during the second series he had, I hated the show, but it was during that second series he became my favourite Doctor.
Mm. And
then during the third series he had, not only did I start liking the show again, but he was still my favourite Doctor. So I had a lot of fun. And then he left. And then Jodie came back. Or came in, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall, Series 11, meh. Series 12 is very different to Series 11. Here's how I describe Series 12. It had higher highs, but it had lower lows. I think that's the best way of describing it. When it was better than Series 11, it really was better. It does have some really fucking good episodes.
Mm.
But when it was bad, it has shit that not only hurts the series, hurt the entire show itself.
Mm.
Fucking timeless children.
Yeah.
So yeah, with this episode is kind of a refreshing change of pace. So, in the very beginning, yeah, we've got to kind of talk about this beginning because I don't know what the fuck happened with this beginning. But it looks like shit. It looks terrible. What happened? Was it COVID?
When she's like flailing around in the air.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
And don't get me wrong,
so bad.
I think conceptually the scene is fine. It even had my first joke from Jodie Whittaker that made me genuinely laugh. Because she's always trying to be funny. And I think she's a naturally funny person. In interviews she makes me laugh. Mm. But her jokes have never landed in the show for me. But this joke of, you know, oh, maybe I was Scottish when I set them up. Release! And she goes with the Scottish accent. Yeah. It made me genuinely laugh. I was like, yes, finally, we've got a likeable, charming personality on the Doctor. And yeah, but it did look like shit. And yeah, I thought, yeah, it was funny. The Scottish thing was funny, but the bad CGI, and I was worried when I first watched it about showing it to you. Because it was bad enough where, yeah, as you said, it got cringe. Like, legitimately, it really did. And even Rachel Talalay, who's a director of a lot of Capaldi episodes, she tweeted something that she deleted later being like, how did that get past quality control? What happened there? And it's not the only shot. There are some other ones. Like, after that, we go into Liverpool. And the first shot of Liverpool, where it's going towards that museum... Do you remember? Because at the very end...
I don't understand. While seeing it, I could see what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
It had really weird frame rate.
I was trying to understand what they'd done. I think what they did was they shot this with a drone.
Mm.
And they shot it at 30 FPS. And they tried to do slow motion towards the end artificially. And it didn't work at all.
Yeah. And it did look... It looked so jarring. Especially when as soon as it transitioned... back to like normal footage with normal speed when they're in the museum, it was just so noticeable to me, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Oh yeah, and there was also the stuff with. All right, so at the very beginning, we get a little scene of Liverpool in the 1800s that didn't come back at all in the episode.
Yeah, what was the purpose of that?
I
thought I'd missed something. I was being dumb. I thought like, oh, it was somehow related to the.
Yeah.
But no.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
All right, so here's the problem because this is the first part of a 6-part story, and Chibnall has thrown a lot of shit into this episode. Right. And don't get me wrong, I think some of it is really cool. This one, not so much. Until I actually see what the point of it is, I don't give a shit that something's happening in Liverpool in the 1800s. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care about Liverpool in the 1800s.
But here's the problem, because a lot of people are defending the idea of him throwing so much shit by saying it's the first part of a 6-part story. But here's the kicker. They did that a lot in the classic era, which is, the idea of Doctor Who having a 6-part story isn't anything new in the fucking slightest at all. But in the classic series, that's not what they did. It was one flowing narrative. The Doctor's not the main character in this story. We're following too many threads that are unrelated to her for her to actually be the main character, in my opinion.
Yeah. Could be good.
I don't know, but yeah, to regress, we meet Dan in the museum. What did you think? I think I don't know, as you said, he's very heavily Scouse. Personally, I think he seems nice.
He seems nice, yeah. I liked it. I liked his performance overall, other than sub-sentences being a bit hard to understand.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
What do you mean? Do you know much about John Bishop in general?
No.
Well, he's a comedian, and he hasn't done much acting. But I wasn't that worried about it, because Catherine Tate as Donna,
There were some instances where I felt bad acting.
Well,
from him, especially when he was in the cage.
Yeah.
That was because obviously, and I can understand why, because in that scene, I feel like a lot of it was green screen. So maybe for someone who's not an experienced actor, maybe it would be harder to do it. And I could see it, like some of the shots, it was a little bit bad acting.
Yeah.
But other than that, I liked it.
But at the same time, fucking Catherine Tate, she was great as Donna, and she hadn't done anything with green screen before.
Yeah, that's true, actually. But then again, I watched that a long time ago. It could be another Hulk, the Incredible Hulk situation.
It's not. No? I've watched season 4 recently. She's fucking majestic. Well, she's great.
Good for her. I mean, to be fair, the Vashna
Nawada, yeah. Yeah, that's one of her best performances. She really displayed her acting chops as, the mother of children that she knows aren't real,
Yeah.
And yeah, after we meet Dan, we get the introduction of this character, the Swarm guy. So he's in, a prison, and we get a couple of, fucking army, military people come. I've got a couple of questions about this scene that I want you to answer, Chip, because again, we know you're listening. What the fuck happened in this scene? What physically happened? How? Because they come in, and...
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
And she's like... And he's like, it's you, blah, blah, blah. How long have you been looking after me? And now you're sending a child to do a woman's job. And she's like, the kid will do fine. You're locked up, as you've always been. And he just goes, but you're wrong. And it turns out, no, he's not locked up. What the fuck happened? How did he escape? Why is he no longer locked up?
He screamed, and then it broke, and he was like, "Oh my god, he's disrupting it."
What? Obviously you're going to show it, but man, as an introduction, just what the fuck did I just say? What are you actually showing me?
Yeah.
Physically. Another thing about that, with that whole change thing, because there are a lot of theories about all of this and stuff. Because he has this history with the Doctor. I think he establishes that with the whole, this will be our final battle. The Doctor has no idea, so the theory is that he fought a pre-Harnell version of the Doctor that she doesn't remember. The Timeless Children sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I know. No. I don't know. Maybe you can make it work. I don't know. Here's my thing with it. When he does that whole life thing and he gets better, did he regenerate? Was that a regeneration?
Could have been.
I mean, I don't know if it was a different actor or not, but he rejuvenated himself for sure. And there was definitely a burst of energy, which we see with regenerations nowadays.
Maybe then. Maybe he's another Time Lord.
Yeah, not even that, but we know that she's from another dimension, so maybe everyone from that dimension can regenerate. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? But then, yeah, he fucking absorbs one of the women or something, and then he disintegrates the other, and then he looks into the camera and goes, "Trick or treat, Doctor." Which, man, you're going too on the nose, Chip. going too on the nose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all happening while Jodie was having like a psychic vision in the TARDIS. And then it turns out that the fucking Yaz is like, look at this, Doctor. And it's fucking, the TARDIS is like leaking goo.
Black goo.
Which, by the way, I like that. I like when someone tries to do something new with the TARDIS. It's not the weirdest thing that's ever happened to the TARDIS.
The TARDIS is leaking black goo.
Yeah, like weirdest shit's happened to the TARDIS, in my opinion.
But
there was that time with Matt Smith. There was that time with Matt Smith where it got fucking invaded by time zombies from the heart of the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Like,
but how does this? What has the black goo got to do with anything?
I know, we're going to find out. It's probably something to do with the flux, maybe. You know, maybe it's damaging the TARDIS from the inside, who knows. But yeah, and then, yeah, she's like, okay, we've got a signal from Earth, from Carvanista. And, oh my god, it's October 31st, and Yaz goes, Halloween! Trick or treat! Chibnall! I am a graduated scriptwriter. That is a terrible line of dialogue. You wrote it and you should feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay? No one talks like that. Oh my god, it's Christmas! Ho ho ho!
Oh, yeah, it is cringe. It's really cringe. Yeah, no person, no adult.
It's April 1st! April Fools!
April Fools! Actually, no, people do.
Yeah, but they're cringe for doing that.
but no one does that. No adult goes to another adult.
Yeah.
It's Halloween, trick or treat. If I did that to you, you'd probably burst out laughing, or you'd think, wow, has this guy been autistic the whole time?
It still was in the way she says it with such enthusiasm. Yeah. It's Halloween! Trick or treat! It's like she's actually asking, can we go trick or treating?
Yeah, not as a joke, not to be satire.
Yeah.
Just doing it unironically.
It was a terrible line. I hated it. And then, yeah, we go back to Dan, and he's working at a food bank, which shows that, yeah, he's a nice guy. And yeah, and she offers him soup, and he's like, I don't want the soup. No one actually likes soup. Whatever the Scouts talks. And then a thing goes past him, and he's clearly looking at a shelf, or like actually at her. He's clearly looking not at this. And she looks over his shoulder, and she just goes, did you see that? No, he fucking didn't. You can see he didn't see that. He didn't even react to it.
He was looking the other way.
He didn't react to it. He didn't see that. Instead of saying, did you see that? She should have gone, you didn't see that.
She should have gone, there's something over there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hey, I know you didn't see that, but there's something over there. Because yeah, it's not a flaw per se, but it made me chuckle. So he goes home, and we see that he has nothing in his fridge. He's got nothing in his cup. This guy is poor. And here's why I'm happy about it. Because most Chibnall scripts from his era wouldn't show us he's poor. There would have been a scene where he would be like, where he would, when he would have gone missing, they would have asked someone about him, and that person would have been like, he's a nice lad, but he's in a bad situation right now.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
You know, he's on hard times. He shows a lot and doesn't, he doesn't show, not tell.
Yeah.
He tells a lot. And this was him finally showing, and I really did appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then as he's like, I should have took the soup. Bang, Carvanista breaks down his door, and he's like, what are you doing? You know, why are you all being fucking mental today? Also, Carvanista, the dog man. What do you think? What did you think of, what, in general?
Didn't like the dog man.
You didn't like the dog man? Why not?
I didn't think the costume was very good.
Really? Honestly, I actually think it's really very Doctor Who. Like, that's something I think you could only see on Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's true, to be fair. That is true.
Like, it looks like a well-made costume straight out of the classic series.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, to be fair, yeah, it does. Yeah, no, it does.
And it's not the first time they've done shit like that. I remember Russell T Davies had cat people and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were 3D.
What do you mean?
Weren't they 3D? No, they weren't, were they?
What do you mean 3D? The cat people?
CGI, weren't they?
No, they weren't CGI. They were people in prosthetics. Remember in Gridlock? And, New Earth, the one in the hospital?
Yeah. No,
they were people in makeup, dude. You thought they were fucking CGI fucking nurses walking around, fucking armies of them. Like, what?
What am I thinking of that's CG?
In that episode? I don't know, but it's not the cat people.
I think I'm thinking of the crabs.
The Macra?
Yeah.
But they weren't people, they were just giant crabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm just thinking of that episode in terms of CGI.
What's it good? I mean, there was a lot. Remember, it was like they were on flying cars in a motorway. There was loads of cars. And...
I think that's what I'm thinking of in terms of CGI. Yeah.
But the cat people were real. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they weren't CGI. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he takes Dan, and then the Doctor and Yaz get there a little bit later. And she finds his laptop. And, alright, this scene bugs me. Alright, she finds his laptop. As she picks it up, she actually says out loud, "Nice laptop you've got here, Dan." You say out loud, "Nice laptop I've got here, Dan." That's a line of dialogue you wrote, Chibnall. She scans it with the Sonic, she Sonics it, it brings up a thing, and she brings it up and she's like, "Oh my god, there are 7 billion Lupari ships coming." And that's the actual number.
Yeah.
7 billion Lupari ships coming.
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Alright, I've got a couple of questions, but the main one is, why has Dan got such a flashy laptop?" And then they both go, "Because it's not his," and they run out and the house fucking implodes and becomes small.
Yeah.
I hate this scene. Here's why. Why has Dan got a flashy laptop? You said it was a nice laptop when you picked it up, Doctor. That's number 1. 2, you Sonicked it. You used a Sonic. I assume that's what happened. Are you saying that the laptop could just do that? Yeah. What did the Sonic do if it wasn't that? How was it a flashy laptop? 3. What? Why did he trap the laptop? It makes no sense. What? Why? Why did he do that? Did he... What
were the chances of someone using the laptop?
Did he have that laptop on him? Does he just carry around that HP laptop in the hopes that he can trap someone with it?
That's a good point, actually. That's a really good point, yeah.
And then 4, and I think this is kind of the most important one. That entire scene was the most fucking rushed sequence of events. That entire scene where she's like, "Why has Dan got a flashy laptop?" Because it's not his, and they run out and the house implodes. Takes like 10 seconds. Yeah. Like, that was the quickest, most rushed way you could have ended that scene, and it just felt cheap when you did it.
Yeah.
It really did. I didn't like that scene at all. And then we go into the Arctic Circle, and we meet those 2 people who... Yeah, because when they came up, you actually asked me, you were like, "Have I missed something? Were these guys introduced already?" And I was like, "No, this is the first time we're meeting them." And you were like, "Okay."
Yeah, but it was just unexpected and weird.
Yeah, and they're Division members. Now, the Division is something to do with the pre-Hartnell Time Lords, Timeless Child shit. They're the ones who wiped her memory. She doesn't know what a Division are. We don't really know either yet. Here's the thing. Well, they might not actually be Division members. We just assume so because of that warning thing.
Mm.
But if they are Division members, those are the 2 worst Division members in the world. Why did you ignore that warning? You don't ignore warnings. They're warnings. Like, I can't believe that actually. Like, why would you do that? Because later on in the episode, Swarm comes in and the man gets disintegrated and he turns the woman into his sister and he's like, "Ah, sister, it's been so long." But like, you had a warning. You could have run. You could have run and escaped.
But she didn't want to. Maybe that's because she... Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's actually the thing. That's a question about it. And that's another reason why I don't think they're Division members. Because the guy died like a little bitch.
Yeah.
And like, we have seen him kill Division members like a little bitch, but this guy was a bitch. Yeah. He was. He puts his chilies in the fridge.
Yeah.
Like, what a bitch. But with her, because she also has a regeneration, but we don't know enough about her yet to, like, for example, like, is she there because the Division have, like, wiped her memory and that's, like, you know, they put her in this form? Or, you know, basically, was she always that? Or maybe she was a normal person and he's, like, turned her into that.
Right.
Like, drawn power from his dimension.
I would have said the other one. Yeah.
Well, you never know, because we don't know enough about these guys yet.
That's true, yeah, that is true.
You know, we know this guy's powerful. This guy's supposed to be really powerful. We don't even know if this guy's controlling the Flux.
Yeah.
We think he is, maybe, but we don't know. But we'll get to that. Also, that woman's name, the Swarm sister, her name is Azure. It's in the credits. But we watched that episode, and when we watched it, I kept an eye on the subtitles. I kept an ear out. They don't name her in the episode. And thus, I'm just going to call her Girl Swarm from now on. Because if you're not going to name her in the episode, I ain't gonna name her for your benefit.
They don't name her at all.
In the credits, she gets her name Azure, but she's not named in the actual thing. And guess what? If that's the case, fuck you. Fuck you. I ain't doing that. So Girl Swarm.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then we get Yaz and the doctor. They're going to go off and search for Carvanista. And then a random woman comes in and she's like, Doctor, it's you. And they're like, who are you? And she's like, oh my God. You haven't met me yet, but you will.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. There were... and then, yeah, so to quickly expand on that bit, they leave her, and she's like, we'll meet eventually. Probably. Who knows? They go off. She starts walking home, and she gets approached by a weeping angel. Now, what did you think of this thing? Because when they came up, you were like, oh shit. Did you know they were coming back at all?
No.
What did you think? What did you think of the scene?
I mean, I thought, wow, weeping angels. Yeah, I mean, that's exciting, but also terrifying because Chris Gibble's probably going to ruin them.
Do you think he did? We know episode 4 is going to be their episode, and their episode's going to be called Village of the Angels. The Angels terrorising a village sounds cool.
The only part that bugged me was a small thing, which was
how she kept looking back. Yeah.
Huh?
It was as she kept looking back.
She kept looking back, but also, she blinks her eyes and it moves closer towards her. But also, she walks
past the tree.
She walks past the tree, and the tree has to, by all laws of physics, pass and block her vision.
Yeah,
and it doesn't move.
That's true.
That was something else that I picked up on, and I was like,
No, it's actually true.
And then she turns back. Oh no! Oh, maybe just.
She turns back 3 times without successfully opening it.
Like, I just thought, no, this is dumb.
Yeah. And then she finally does open it, and she goes inside, and then, even though she's already opened it, she takes so long to close the door, she blinks anyway. Alright, here's my thoughts on this scene. It's a cool scene. I love the Angels. Great seeing them back again. Their most effective use since the time of Angels. Really could be cut from the episode completely. Doesn't need to be here at all.
Yeah.
Really, really unnecessary.
Obviously, its purpose was to set something up for the next episode.
Episode 4.
Oh, episode 4?
Yeah. Episode 4 is the Weeping Angel episode.
Oh.
So what's the fucking point of us seeing it right now? You're cock teasing us.
They're just going to train
You're
us
tickling.
into it,
You're tickling our balls.
Yeah. There's going to be a small 5-minute section about Weeping Angels for the next 3 episodes.
It could be. It easily could be. Yeah. And man, yeah, I just I thought it was a really cool scene, really well done. Could completely be cut out. But I have been on Reddit, and here are some fan theories about this woman. I don't agree with any of them. I don't think any of them are true. One is that this woman is a variant of Clara. Do you know who Clara is?
Is that from Capaldi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her whole thing was that before she was with Capaldi, when she was with Matt Smith, there were versions of her scattered throughout time, the Doctor's timeline, that were like helping him out with catastrophes and shit.
Yeah.
She specifically says when she's like, I'm going to go home the long way round. That phrase is really heavily associated with that era of Smith and Clara. Because that was spoken in the 50th anniversary. And it was one of Clara's last words on one of her deaths, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. Matt Smith and Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't think it's a Clara. Her name is Claire, which people also like. It's Clara.
Clara.
But I don't think it's Clara. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm not Christian. I
mean, honestly, wouldn't be surprising.
Some people think maybe it's the future Doctor. I'm just going to nip this one in the bud. No, it's not. I think that's really dumb. Some people have said it and been like, maybe it is. No, it's not. They've never done that. Don't get me wrong. I think it'd be cool if they did. but then they haven't. Don't get me wrong, if I was in charge, I might do it. I'm not going to say I will do it, because maybe I'll be in charge one day, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the third one, and this idea I could kind of fuck with, but there's no proof in the episode. It's just wild speculation. The idea that she's in a time loop. Because she already seems weirded out, and she already knew who the angels were in the scene. So the idea is that, she was in the past, she met them, she's aged, and she's there again, and now the angels are going to send her back there.
To the exact same place?
To the exact same place. Yeah. And she's going to meet them again.
Yeah.
That could be cool. So in episode 4 we'll have the young Claire and the old Claire.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be cool.
That could be very cool, actually. Because, she'd still age from walking, from doing that, Yeah, just doing it thousands of times, you'd age.
But the young Claire was also sent back in time.
Yeah.
Is the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then that'd be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence in the thing. She just she does know who the angels are, so there's some evidence, but it's not exactly pinpointing that,
Yeah.
But no, that would be cool. But dumb scene. Not dumb, but unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they go back into the TARDIS, and then the door has changed places.
Yeah.
And it's in the wall now, and she's like, that's weird. Again, not the weirdest shit that's happened in the TARDIS. In a Tom Baker episode, the TARDIS landed inside itself, and they were trapped for a little period of time in the TARDIS. As in the console room, there was the police box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, I see. So Inception.
Yeah, basically. And when they stepped out of the TARDIS, they were back in the console room.
Right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and they were struggling to materialise out of it.
Yeah, yeah. So
it's still not the weirdest shit that's happened to the TARDIS, in my opinion. But I do think it is cool to see, because the TARDIS, is especially at this point, is like indestructible. It's like a vessel of the gods. It's like the vessel of the gods.
Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we, if it actually is?
Yeah. And then as she's checking on the TARDIS, Yaz brings up some conflict and is like, why won't you let me in? Now, I actually think this is interesting, because from what I understand here, it really seems like Yaz wants a friend, but the Doctor actually, in this instance, really doesn't want a friend. She just wants a companion. Here's why I think that's interesting. Chibnall was a fan of the classic era. That's how it was in the classic era. Like, the Doctor didn't really have friends. Don't get me wrong, there were friends. Sarah Jane was a friend, but a lot of them were just kind of companions in that regard. They just travelled together, and he was just showing them amazing things. And I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to replicate a classic era relationship with this companion having the expectation of a modern series one. And that's why she's angry. Because in the modern series, the Doctor and their companions are a lot closer. Like family and shit. Yeah. In the classic era, apart from the very last companion, called Ace, we never met a single companion's relative.
Yeah.
Because why would you? Who cares?
Yeah.
But then Russell T Davies comes in and, we get to meet Rose's mum. Yeah. And she's a recurring companion, Rose's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I don't have a problem with this conflict. I actually think it's quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get into another fucking plot thread where we go to Observation Outpost Rose, which is that. Do you remember Minder? He's that guy. I told you he was from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and he's talking and he sees the Flux coming and it eats the planet and he's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure we'll meet him soon.
Again, unnecessary.
Again, completely unnecessary. Yeah. You don't add anything to the episode at all, unfortunately. You seem cool. I'm sure you're going to be a lovely guy.
Yeah.
But I have no idea who the fuck you are right now.
Yeah.
And and then she lands on Carbonista's ship. They track her down. She goes to Carbonista and she goes, I've got a bone to pick with you. Which I think is funny. Because he's a dog. He is. He's a dog man.
Yeah. That's obviously the joke they went for.
It was, and I actually thought it was funny.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was fine. but then she asks him about the division, at which point I was like, okay, so there's just people who work for the division out there. We've never heard of these guys before, and now we have, and now she's just like, oh yeah, there are division people out here.
Yeah.
Like, how long have they been out there? What have they been doing? How have you found this guy so fast? Who is this dog man? He's just a part of the Lupari. Why the fuck is this guy working for the Division too? Do all of the Lupari work for the Division?
Yeah.
Who is this fucking dog man?
I mean, maybe it'll be revealed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I imagine so.
No. They never reveal it. They just bring him up and then put him away.
He's actually going to die at the very beginning of the next episode and never be mentioned again. But yeah, and then Yaz finds Dan, releases him from the cage, and here's the thing, I find it weird because she's like, she looks at the cage and she's like, this cage has 9 different booby traps and I'm going to disarm them all because I've done this before.
Yeah.
Newsflash, in the 2 seasons we've seen her in, I don't think we've seen her disarm a single booby trap.
That's her role. She's the booby trap disarmer.
She was like a fucking member of the A team in this episode, and beforehand she wasn't. Yeah. But here's the thing, I think this is actually good for one reason. I think it gives Big Finish a lot of potential, because in the very last episode, the other companions, Ryan and Graham, were kicked out, and well, not kicked out, but they left. And in this episode, you know, it seems like they've been together for a while alone, you know?
Mm.
We haven't seen any of that. Mm. That's where Big Finish are going to step in if she comes. And I really hope she does join Big Finish, because better writers, better use of her character. I think people will love her Doctor a lot more. Something that happened with Colin Baker and the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
I do think, yeah, she's got room to shine, especially in my heart, at least. You know, I'm sure if I got into Doctor Who a lot more, I'd feel more comfortable with the idea of her being being there.
And then we get I suppose it is a twist that the Lupari, the dog people, the dogmen, the mighty strong dogmen, they are actually like trying to protect humans, and they feel they've got like a bond with them.
Which I thought it was cool. I liked that idea.
It's fun. It's very Doctor Who again.
Yeah, I liked that idea. I liked it a lot. I was expecting like some sort of cringe cliche, but no, that was kind of like unexpected for me, at least. I wasn't expecting it to be that way. You know.
Here's the thing. I think it's effective for the episode, but long term, it has got one very fundamental flaw,
which is,
where the fuck have you been? There's been so many events where humanity have been threatened. Like,
that's a really, really good point. There've been loads, especially no. I've got a really good point. When loads of them when they all start committing suicide. What
the Sycorax?
Yeah. That is a prime example of when they should have been there.
Dude, when the Daleks invaded.
Yeah, when the Daleks invaded.
Where are you backing up the Doctor?
Loads.
Yeah, that's my only main problem with it. And then we get Carvanista, because she's like, you know, how comes you got here before everyone else? And he's like, I hit a time disturbance. Hold the fuck up. You hit a time disturbance and you got here a couple of hours beforehand, but yet you still had plenty of time to lead the Doctor and Riaz on a wild goose chase, set dozens of traps all around the fucking universe, set up a tab of boiling acid and have them dangle over it, and fucking set up drones.
Yeah.
How much did you get here weeks beforehand? What? And what were the traps?
All with the time disturbance as well.
and fucking, as for these traps, you were supposed to be the good guy. What was this even about? You hadn't even got the human yet. What was this even about?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why were they after it? What did you do?
Well, they do establish that they have some sort of backstory, don't they?
I think she's after him because of the Division, but that doesn't explain why he hates her so much. What has she done yet? Because he hasn't got the human yet.
Mm.
She stops him from getting the human.
Yeah, I'm betting they have some sort of personal, you know, backstory, because she comes out and she seems like she's on the offense.
Yeah.
With him, you know, he's obviously on the offense with her, you know, because he got his thing out, he was ready to go. You know, I think they
maybe they do. Who knows? I mean, again, it's the first part of 6.
Yeah.
But then we properly get to see the Flux in its first time for all its glory,
which I thought was cool. I thought it was
visually, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I thought visually it was very cool.
Here's what I couldn't stop thinking though: this Flux is essentially Galactus from Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Have you seen that movie?
I have.
Where Galactus is a giant cloud.
Is that what he is? That is like really long time ago that I've seen that.
It's an old movie.
Like, Incredible Hulk, I saw it multiple times because I enjoyed it. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I saw this once.
Yeah, it's a once type of deal.
But it was also a long time ago, so I can barely
in that one, Galactus, who is an incredible Marvel character, is reduced to a giant cloud that eats planets. And yeah, I mean, this is obviously a lot bigger. It's a universe. But yeah, it kept giving me flashbacks to that. It looked really good though. And again, compare it to the very beginning. Yeah. What the fuck happened at the very beginning? This looked movie quality.
The reason for that is environment and compositing. So creating a 3D element is, not to do it down. Creating a 3D element is easier than compositing real footage with 3D elements. That's a lot harder. To make a really epic, it looked like the type of thing you'd make in Houdini, like procedurally generate some sort of awesome particle cloud fluid system.
Burning planets.
That would be fairly not simple, but it'd be fun and, it'd be doable. It'd be easier than compositing something. Compositing something takes a lot of experience and nuance. You need to be like an experienced compositor, or you need to be experienced in film, which costs a lot of money, so that's probably why it was a bit crap.
Yeah.
It was a bit pish. But
it
was a bit pish. But I thought the cloud was very cool.
No, it was.
I thought it was very cool.
And with the cloud, we actually get a quick shot, or not a quick shot, but a quick scene with some Centaurans.
Which, at first, when I first saw it, I clocked it immediately. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What do you think about them? What do you think of the new design?
I thought it was very cool. I thought I really liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
What do you think of the dialogue? You look disgusting.
I like that.
See, the main reason I like that, because in the Moffat era, it would have been, you look disgusting, and the other Centaur would have gone, thank you.
Yeah.
But in this one, he just goes, well, no need to dwell on it. And he just goes, no, but really, truly disgusting. Like, no, it's an insult. And I'm going to reiterate the fact that it's an insult. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. But again, completely unnecessary?
Obviously, I feel like they put it in there.
I mean, this one's a bit more forgivable because they are the very next episode. The very next episode was Tyrants.
Yeah, they obviously placed it there to hype people.
Yeah,
and it did that. It was cool. I haven't seen the Sontarans in a very, very long time.
Yeah, dude, they've been enemies in the Sarah Jane Adventures more than modern Doctor Who.
Yeah,
which is just twice. Yeah. Just twice. They've only been once in Modern Doctor Who. Once they've been.
They were good, and they were good.
They were.
Modern Doctor Who. They were good. They were very good. So yeah, no, it's good to see them back.
No, it is, and again, they do look great. They look a lot more modern era. Classic era too. Like the very first appearance of Centaur, it looks very reminiscent of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, we get more of the Flux going on. They destroy a planet, and we get to see all the citizens die. And you know what kept reminding me of? That scene in Guardians of the Galaxy, where one of them uses the reality stone to destroy a planet, and you see all the... And not only did it mean, when I say it reminded me of that, I mean like shot for shot. I think Chris Chibnall might have watched Guardians of the Galaxy before he wrote this.
Hey, I wanted to look like he actually showed them. He froze the frame, took a screenshot. I wanted to look like this.
Originally, he was just like, "What do you mean we can't use the footage from the film? It's not public domain."
Wait, you didn't know? They actually just took it and put it in there. They just warped it a little bit so they couldn't get copyrighted.
Man, that was genius. But no, I mean, it was a cool scene. And again, it looked good, but yeah, it was very reminiscent of Guardians for me. And then we get, the doctors are like, "Oh my god, why is this happening?" And she has another little fucking psychic vision of Swarm, and that's when he's like, "This will be our final fight, Doctor."
Who are you?
Well, it's funny you said that, because here are some of the fan theories from Reddit. One is that and again, I really want to reiterate, it isn't. This isn't true.
Okay.
This is really dumb.
Yeah.
It's the Master. I can tell you one exact reason why it's not. Not only is it the biggest reason, but it's the most important one too. The Master was in it 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
It might have been almost 2 years, but it was 2 episodes ago that the Master tried to destroy Gallifrey. And he didn't look like this.
Yeah.
If it was the Master, it would be the laziest fucking writing in the world. And guess what? I actually have a little bit more faith in Chibnall than that. It's not the Master. The second one, which I did bring up earlier, but it is technically still a theory, but I do believe it's true, is that this guy is from the alternate universe. You know, because he is definitely a pre-Harnell Doctor.
Yeah.
But it is debatable whether or not that means he's also from the same universe as she would be.
Yeah.
Because we know at some point she did come into the universe, she did do a bunch of shit, and then she got a memory wiped by the Division. So he could still be from this universe, or he could be from hers.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is from hers, who knows how powerful he could be, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then fucking she's like, you know, oh no, the world, we're gonna go to Earth. Why? Why does she go to Earth to escape the Flux?
Yeah,
I still don't know why.
As soon as she said that, I was like, what? No! No!
Go the other way.
She's like, oh my god, it's following us. It won't stop following us. Let's go to Earth.
Yeah, let's go to the one place where there's a lot of people.
Like, what? Are you retarded?
Yeah, and Yaz is like, but my family's there.
My family.
And then Dan goes, but Diane's there. Oh my god, I forgot to meet Diane. Hector, can I ask you a personal question? Did you remember who the fuck Diane was?
No.
No. When they brought her back, and this might sound mean or like insulting, I don't mean it as an insult, I don't mean it as offensive. I only remembered who the fuck this character was because she was missing an arm.
That character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the missing arm, I would have been like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, someone memorable. Yeah.
Because she was in one scene in the very beginning. 2 scenes, but combined.
Yeah.
And then she's gone for almost the entire 50-minute journey.
My Diane.
Not Diane! Like, no, I had no idea who the fuck it was. And then she gets taken by Girl Swarm anyway. Who the fuck are you, Diane? And why take you? Who are you? Is it because they want to use you against Dan in the future so that they can use Dan against the Doctor?
Oh, that would make the most sense, wouldn't it?
That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
One main question though. Who the fuck are you?
Who are you,
Who are you? And who are you, Dan? How did they even know that Dan's friends with the Doctor right now?
Yeah.
Like, the only time we've seen him talk to the Doctor has been his psychic projections. Can he see out of her eyes what's going on? Like, it's not explained. It doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. Why would she get... It makes no sense. But then, yeah, the Flux is coming, and she's like, the Lupari, Dogmen, you've got 7 billion ships. I need you to form a battalion around the Earth and raise your shields. And they do it, and then, you know, Colonist is like, get behind the battalion. We've seen the Flux in action. That should fucking annihilate your little pissy battalion. And it should then...
It's obliterated an entire fucking
And
planet.
then it should destroy the entire Earth and everyone should die. The idea that your little battalion is going to stop that makes no... Honestly, if your battalion can stop that, I don't understand why the Doctor's stressing out so much. Do something with that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, and she's like, I can't do it. I can't stop it. And then she tries to use vortex energy, which, yeah, that was nice. You know, we haven't seen that in a while. And it doesn't work. And then we get the cliffhanger. Now, I actually really like the cliffhanger. But you know what I fucking hate in this episode with that cliffhanger? When she, you know, they're in the TARDIS, it's coming towards it. You get the Doctor going, ooh. You get Dan going, ooh. You get Yaz going, ooh. And then it carries on. And you get Claire going, ooh. And you get Liverpool going, yeah, she's going, ooh. And you get Diane going, ooh. And you get Swarm and Girl Swarm going, ooh. And you get a Weeping Angel going, ooh. And you get a Centaurus going, ooh. And you get Prime Minister going, ooh.
Oh my god.
Like,
yeah.
I hated that end montage so fucking much. That was him literally being like, this is everything we've introduced. You don't know who half of these people are, but remember all of their faces. There will be a test. Like, I hated that end montage so much.
Oh man, yeah.
But overall, what did you think? But yeah, so yeah, what did you think?
Overall, I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
Overall, I enjoyed myself.
It was a fun ride, and hopefully the rest of it can live up to it. The next episode is going to be, this was the Halloween Apocalypse. The next one will be the War of the Sontarans. Then it's going to be called Once Upon Time. Which, I don't know what that one's about. I don't fucking know. That could be fun. I don't know. And then it's Village of the Angels. And then the last two haven't been revealed yet. Only time can tell. I really hope one of these episodes isn't called Flux. Because the way these have been done is that this is actually Chapter 1, the Halloween Apocalypse. And this one's Chapter 2. That would mean it'd be Doctor Who, Flux. Chapter 6, Flux.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that so much, Chibnall. Yeah. Don't do it, Chibnall. Oh, Chibnall, if you do it. Oh, Chibnall.
Oh,
Chibnall, don't do it, Chibnall.
We know you're listening,
Chibnall. What would you... I mean, should we rate these out of 10?
Yeah.
They're movie-like.
Yeah. I would rate it... I'd rate it as 6.
I'd rate it as 6.
Yeah, I'd rate it as 6. It was...
It tried to throw a lot at us, and some of it landed, and some of it didn't.
Also, do you know what I just clocked?
What?
I also rated Tusk a 6.
Exactly. Do you understand
Yeah,
why?
I understand now. Yeah, I have to... Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I don't have a properly evaluated method of
You've
rating
got to.
movies. That's the problem.
You've got to.
I don't. So it's not going to be consistent.
Do it like my method. The closer it is to 5, the closer it is to either end, the more fun you can have.
See, that's the problem though. My enjoyment level of Tusk and my enjoyment level of watching this were... Actually, no, I had more enjoyment watching.
No, but that's what I mean. If you have the same level of enjoyment as a 6, but it's bad, I would call that a 4. If you have the same amount as a 10, it'd be a 1.
Yeah. I would say I enjoyed this more though. It's maybe 6.5 if we do halves. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, yeah. I'd say it wasn't. There were lots of things that I didn't like though. All of the stuff I pointed out at the start. So it wasn't by any means great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun. It was nice to. It was nice to be watching.
And that's what movies and shows are for. To be fun.
Yeah, it needs to be fun.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed, watching a New Dog 2 episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to the next one? We're getting Sontarans.
Yeah, I am, to be fair. That is going to be good.
Yeah.
We're going to see the Sontarans come back. I haven't seen them in a very long time.
Yeah.
And
another detail I liked, actually, the old Sontaran was played by the guy who's played Strax. The fun Sontaran, he kept popping up sometimes.
Yeah.
And I like that, because it's like he's handing the torch over to the guy who's playing the new Sontarans, So yeah, I appreciated that. I was like, yeah, you go.
Yeah.
Because I recognised him instantly, because he's got a very discernible voice. Because he does Big Finish Sontarans too, so his voice is very distinguishable to me. So I was like, nice to see you, Dan Starkey.
Yeah.
Handing it off. I hope he never comes back. No, that's a joke.
We love you, Dan.
We do. We know you're listening.
Yeah.
Along with Chris. But yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah. We've been going for 2.5 hours now. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice mention each. I mean, some of that will be cut, but yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. I want to applaud you for listening. You actually did it. You got it to the end.
Yeah, well done. You did it. You win nothing. Just my,
appreciation.
Wow. Gratitude. Yeah.
Well, for me, you actually win a gift card for 10.
You've always got to show me up.
No. Actually, here's a good point. No. Hear me out. You win a gift card for £10 for Amazon. But here's the kicker. I'm being serious. Let's see if anyone listens to the end and tries to claim this. I'm being serious. If you actually are listening to this and you're not, Hector, don't go telling about this or anything. I'm going to bleep her name. Don't go tell anyone about this. Let's see who listens to the end of this, because there are people who came to listen to this. Listen to the end. Message me. First person to message me, I will gift a £10 gift voucher to. I'll get it for you for Christmas. Alright? I'm being serious.
It'll probably be guy from Discord.
Yeah, it might be him.
Yeah.
But maybe he doesn't actually listen to the end. It will be how we tell.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Message me for the gift card, and if not, then we'll know that you're a blatant liar.
Yeah.
And even if you don't know us, maybe you don't know us, but if you don't know us,
message us anyway.
Yeah. No, seriously. You can message us.
It's just Nethergreen Podcast.
Yeah, it's at Nethergreen Podcast on Twitter, or the Nethergreen Podcast at gmail.com, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Get your free £10 Amazon gift card.
Yeah, actually do it. Alright, we're doing that, yeah. Alright. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed. And I was being serious. Seriously message me. I want to know. Alright, and, alright. Peace.
Peace out.